Hey everybody, so not too long ago I was actually looking for something else entirely, and then I actually ended up stumbling upon something that I never thought that I would stumble upon in a long while, and it's old scripts to a bunch of videos that no longer exist publicly on YouTube that I've made. And I thought it would be funny and interesting if I basically made this video to kind of look back into what my content style used to be like. By the way, don't expect a whole bunch of editing from this one. I honestly just kind of want this to be more like a sit down and read type of thing. So it's definitely going to be on the longer side. And I just kind of want to talk about a couple aspects, give context here and there, and just kind of reminisce on how I never should have deleted these videos. Also, I hope you guys are okay with the camera work. I don't have like a tripod or any kind for something like this, so this is all I can do. This first script we got going on here, I believe that this is, I think this is like top 10 most annoying Paper Mario NPCs. Now, why something so oddly specific? I have no idea. I think I was obsessed with Paper Mario at one point, so I had actually made multiple Paper Mario related videos. Some of these I never actually worked on, aside from the script existing. And you know what I don't really get? As you can see here, I just kind of list all of the entries just at the start of the script when I didn't really need to do that. And of course, we can't forget the honorable mentions. Hey everybody, this is Guy123, and as you may recall, I planned on having a top 10 most annoying enemies of Paper Mario. Actually, hold on one second. I'm actually gonna turn my... There, I was probably peeking earlier because my mic is like really close to my mouth this time around. This is a video that I actually released, the one that I just mentioned, top 10 most annoying Paper Mario enemies. It was like, I guess it was in limbo for a while, and then I just decided to delete it because I didn't like the way it turned out, which is funny because, again, I dedicated that much time to a video that I would just delete. Anyway, this is Guy123, we get it. I said that it was scrapped due to being too difficult to develop for. And as you can, there was a reason that I kind of crossed that part out of the script, because it was a spelling error, minor spelling mistake. But yeah, basically this in a way is kind of outdated because I never gave up on that video. I actually ended up finishing it, but like I said, I didn't like how it turned out, so I deleted it. So to try to make up for this loss, I'd like to introduce to you my top 10 list of the worst Paper Mario NPCs. One of the things Paper Mario is known for is how many characters are in the game. While they may not add anything to the story or character development, the massive number of additional characters to talk and tattle on make this game more of an interesting and in-depth game. That's like the most painful... Well, the most painful paragraph so far. There's going to be a lot of these, and there's probably going to be even worse as time goes on. But as some of you might know, when you play this game, there are also some NPCs that are really bad, which makes the top 10 worst NPCs in Paper Mario. I don't really understand what I mean here, because do I mean badly written, boring, underdeveloped? What exactly was I talking about here? Where we discuss the most annoying, dull, and heartbreaking characters. Damn, okay. And if you do like these individuals, that's great. It's just my personal opinion. Hey guys, I'm Phantom Strider. Anyway, with that said, it's now time. Number 10. Tolai Lip. There's a handful of strange yet notable characters in Flower Fields, some that are fairly generic, and others that are beautiful. But Tolai Lip is by far the most bizarre, standing near the bottom left corner of the main plaza of Flower Fields. Tolai Lip is made up of 3 words, Tulai Lip, in which the translation is a tulip that lies. I didn't have to enunciate, did I? He gives the player... I misgendered. He uses reverse psychology, meaning you must do the exact opposite as he says in terms of not doing something that you should. But Flower Fields is possibly one of the shortest chapters in the game. There's not exactly much that has to be done. I mean, I have to save the population of this place from all dying. I like how... I'm like pretty sure that the only reason that I was like, oh, this is the shortest chapter in the game is because that was literally in Strider7X's video. And I was watching his videos all the time around when I was working on these videos and writing these scripts. So that's probably where my obsession came from. So this guy using the most non-cryptic hints may or may not help you on your journey. I mean, even Goombario seems a little concerned about what he does. Since this guy won't provide you with much help, don't listen to what he says. Number 9, Bruce. Warning, this is an annoying. I think I was trying to do some funny edit here or something. That's probably what I was referring to. Annoying alert at number 9 and not at number like 2 or 3. Dang, I guess it's really annoying how annoying these characters truly are. As you wander through the coop... Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me move it back. I'm not peeking anymore. As you wander through the Koopa Bros fortress, you fall into a trapdoor and into this jail with multiple Bob-ombs trapped inside. One of which is a character named Bombette, which becomes your party member that'll help you and everyone else escape. But one of the annoying ones is a blue Bob-omb named Bruce. After completing Chapter 1 and revisiting the Koopa Village, you'll see a group of Bob-ombs. Why not try talking to them? As you can probably tell from talking to Bruce, he's crazy in love with Bombette, and she really isn't happy about it. You can even receive a letter from him for Bombette that reads, Bombette, I love you. Please understand how I feel. I love you. You're Bruce. And another one that reads, Bombette, you must return to me, O fair incombustible Bob-omb. My heart awaits you in Koopa Village. It burns like a fuse. I will love you forever, even if you reject me. My love will endure. If I don't see you soon, I'll surely explode. So please hurry. You've ignited my passion. Come back to me, my love. You're Bruce. Ah, I see. So it kind of predated what was it called? Nice Guys, r/Nice Guys, that subreddit that you probably watch all those text-to-speech videos on. Yeah, he's pretty annoying, but you also wonder, why is he crazy in love with Bombette? Is it because Bombette is the only female Bomb-Bomb in the Koopa Village? I just like to think about that's why. And plus, you don't know if Bombette is really... And plus, you don't know if Bombette is really in love with Britain now. There's no way. I hope for all intents and purposes that Bombette just literally explodes on him, getting rid of him forever. Because what exactly did he do to deserve the love of Bombette anyway? Number 8, Rosie. Unlike Tulay Lip in Flower Fields, this next NPC actually interferes with this chapter's story. What? During this segment of Flower Fields, you must bring back the water from the spring guarded by Miss Lily. She also am I serious right now? She also wilting up like the rest of the place and is about to crush the lily pad she's standing on because the lily pad is apparently also alive because I don't know. I hate working with this, I won't lie. However, it's not the end of the world for these bulbulbs and other flower-like beings here at Flower Fields. We must retrieve the almighty water stone to save them all. So we go on a hunt for it, encounter and kill a few Lakitus, go through the hedge maze. Actually, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce. Is it Lakitu or is it Lakitu? I'd be curious to know how you guys pronounce it, honestly. Go through the hedge maze we happen to come across, and we find that the water stone is in the hands, roots. I mean, at least I made fun of myself every now and then. Problem, though, is that even though these Lakitus are clumsy enough to drop the stone, and despite everything, everything Mario told her, she still won't give the stone to Mario unless he finds something prettier than what she has. Okay, let's just boil that down, okay? These two Lakitus, sent out by Master Huff and Puff, have the entire water supply in that stone that they have. They drop it, some roses find it, and she won't give it to us. If you didn't know already, that stone is the source of preventing all the flowers from dying of thirst. And yet we have to give her something to be able to get it. I'm sure this is a common theme for most games, but this is truly unacceptable. At which she even thinks the stone to herself is ugly. Well, if it's so ugly, then why don't you give it to Mario if you really don't want it? You can clearly tell that Mario wants it to save not only Lily and her lily pad, but the entire population of Flower Fields from dying. I've gone really long on that number, but I'm pretty sure you get my point. She practically is one of the yeah, I'm glad I crossed that out. One of the antagonists of this chapter, and since this would have made this easier for average players to advance further in this chapter, it'd be really difficult for hardcore gamers to not be angry at this entire situation. Rosie is definitely not an NPC I'd want to see again. Damn, based Goron guy. Number 7, Buzzer. There somehow has to be guards of multiple places to seek out and attacks. Any trespassers of random places. Buzzer is a large bird that prevents you from progressing any further in Mount Rugged. She won't let you pass until you answer her question. If you tell her you're either Mario or Princess Peach, you'll end up starting a fight with her since she seems to have played some Mario before. She knows the whole story. Buzzer in battle is a large bird enemy that flies. Oh my god, I had no idea that a lot of birds in fact fly. And has a huge array of attacks, as well as dealing huge amounts of damage to you. However, you can skip this battle sequence by tricking her into thinking you're Luigi, allowing you to bypass her. But even after going into the next room and turning back, she'll get on your case again, so you'll need to deal with your problem again. So my question is, why couldn't she just remember Luigi? My theory? She kinda dumb. You'll eventually want to defeat her to just be done with her, but also claim the already awaiting Star Point award. So why is she here, and why does she want to impress Bowser, and where did she get that letter she was holding during your confrontation with Mario? I don't know. Also, another thing that I probably should have mentioned, obviously you have to have at least played the original Paper Mario 64 if you even want a chance to understand what I'm talking about. And I knew a lot about this game at the time, of course. Oh, this is actually such an annoying section of the video because there are dozens of... Okay, number 6. There are dozens of Shy Guys in the toy box. Red Shy Guys, blue guys, yellow guys, green guys, deadly guys, brighter red guys, groove guys, sky guys, spy guys, midi guys, pyro guys, shy squad, stilt guys, shy stacks, and general guy. What was the point in me listing... I mean, I guess it was funny back then. I could probably make it funny nowadays, but also there was no point. I could have just said etc. I thought that was going to go much longer. And now we have a fat one called Gourmet Guy. This guy literally gets in our way of our story. We find him sitting on a step. I mean, a lot of NPCs do that, don't they? They just kind of get in your way. Clearly in our way. So he's somehow too hungry to get off his butt. I don't know. Maybe it's because you had too much of something that you thought wasn't enough. I mean, the evidence is on him. What was I talking about exactly? Was I trying to make a joke there? So during Chapter 4, we were able to obtain the frying pan taste tea lost to the Shy Guys, and after returning it to her, she makes a cake for Mario as a thank you for returning her pan. And that's just not any cake. It's the cake that she only cooked for her husband, you know, when her husband was still around. But seriously, she said she wouldn't make it for anyone else. Okay, hold on one second. And after losing something of hers that was oddly so important that she wouldn't cook for Mario until she got it back. We did get it back. Then she makes us a cake that we're now going to give to a fat Shy Guy. I can't tell if Mario is being disrespectful or if it's the player manipulating all this, or if the fact that we're trying to get this Big O out of the way to save Toad Town. All right, hold on, I'm casting a big shadow, but I honestly just can't let that sink in. That is not funny. That is not funny. And still on the topic of Gourmet Guy, he does gives us something in return of freeing him from his state. He gives us a cookbook that I'm assuming we give to Taste Tea that allows her to learn new recipes that use 2 core ingredients instead of just 1. And later, after completing Chapter 4 during the Peach intermission, you see Gourmet Guy sitting in a dining room who's again hungry for delicious cake. And while this equals 2 good things that he's letting the princess do. That being Gourmet Guy sparing her from being caught by the guards, and 2, giving her the key that allows access to the kitchen in the lower level of the castle. We're trying to find out what happened to Mario, and he won't tell us until we give him the cake. Yes, you heard me. Another cake. This is by far the most tedious Peach intermission I've ever experienced. It's not that bad. I mean, I guess it technically is the most tedious one, but it's not that bad. You just need to learn instructions and then bake a cake for like 15 seconds. Or pull a phantom... No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to reference that again. Bake it for 3 years. It'll go back down to 0. I don't know. Alright. This is by far the... Okay. I'm sure other players would think so too. You have to get the cake just right, or we will vomit your cake out in disgust with many insults at the top of his head. It was supposed to be he will. So minor grammatical error right there. After he rejects your cake, you have to do it all over again. Just kidding. That's not necessary. That's not necessarily true. You basically have to redo the mistake you did and continue from there. After you do it right, he does this again. After his ecstasy, he finally tells Peach where Mario is going next, yet despite all of his demands for specifically cake, this guy isn't very good. Number 5, Kami Koopa. There are A handful of many Mario games where there's a cabinet that advises King Bowser, and for Paper Mario, there's a cabinet? Okay. Kammy Koopa that occasionally... I think I know what I'm talking about here, but, like, oddly specific word, choice of words here. You have Kammy Koopa that occasionally spies on Mario on his journey, brings Bowser good or bad news, sometimes keeps Peach in her room, and also is the one behind all the yellow blocks in Goomba Village. I despised Kammy Koopa while playing this game for the first time, and is definitely behind a lot of what you come across during your journey. So she's definitely considered one of the antagonists of not just the majority of some of the game's chapters, but pretty much the entire game. Heck, you must even face off against her as Peach and Twink during the final boss, and she somehow has no better attack than to continually smash Twink with blocks. No wonder why you failed, Bowser. You epic fail. You'll never catch me writing that in any future videos. Anyway, I think I've said enough about Kammy. She's annoying, adds a lot to the story, yet somehow manages to end up on number 5 on this list. For anyone who hasn't played much of the game till this point, I will stop talking and will be moving on. Number 4, Chet Rippo. Another character they seem to have thrown into Paper Mario that is completely shrouded in mystery and seemingly has no backstory. Chet Rippo is some pelican that says you can upgrade either HP, FP, or BP by 2 levels for only the price of 39, while he says they're normally for the price of 390 coins. Seems like a nice, trustworthy guy. Wrong, he's far from that. Even his name is a valid indicator of how untrustworthy this guy truly is. I don't have to read that. You guys know what I was talking about, because literally, Chet Rippo was literally... You guys are smart, okay? I'm not going to infantilize you guys, alright? You guys can figure it out on your own. Worst of all, he seems to not even care about Mario at all, which makes his character pointless in every possible way. The use that players would have in Chet Rippo is to change their stats in certain ways if they accidentally level up the wrong stat, but just ignore them and max out your stats by refighting Goomba King. That's so oddly specific, because essentially there's a bug that you can perform which basically makes it where if you basically clip out of bounds using Lackluster, yeah, that you can just kind of go out of bounds and refight the Goomba King until you reach max level. It's pretty easy. Basically, it's like you can refight this boss over and over again, and it drops the same amount of star points each and every single time. You get it. It's basically a lot faster than just beating up a bunch of regular enemies on the world map. You guys know what I mean, right? What else was there? Number 3, Sent C Koopa. Can you actually believe that a Koopa Troopa so massive used to be in the Koopa Village? No, me neither. Let's take him for what he is. Sent C Koopa is an unforgiving Koopa Troopa who stands in the way. Stands in the way. Wait, what does that say? Stands in the way of Pleasant Path after beating Chapter 6, where he demands you to pay 100 coins to have him move out of the way to access the Koopa Village. Well, all of the rest of the Koopa Troopas cannot visit Toad Town without having to pay a huge toll. You, however, have the option to fight him so that he'll never bother you again, but Sent C Koopa is a monstrous turtle enemy with the biggest defense in the game, exceeding 6, as well as having an attack power of 8, including a swirling shell spin attack that injures party. I mean, honestly, this boss really isn't a joke. It's probably... Do I want to say that it's even more difficult than Bowser? I don't think I'd go that far, but it's... You want to come prepared. He's hard, including us. Okay, as well as having 70 HP. This foe is honestly rival, but nothing can compare his power to the incredible strength and Mario killing combos of the final form of the Master. But I don't want to talk about him. Well, yeah, technically he's the most powerful boss in the entire game. We're discussing about Sent C Koopa, the greediest, most massive Koopa Troopa. Don't listen to what he says. Grab Watt, get some sleep, horde, repel, gel. Get some sleep, horde, repel gels and stone caps, as well as getting taste tea to help. You must take this, I can't even read that. You must take this gangly monstrosity at first sight. Oh my god. That's probably my new favorite descriptive word. Number 2, Rip Cheeto. Ugh! Now this is another greedy man. Apparently this is a man with golden or yellow teeth who locked himself into the blue house, put the key in an obvious spot in the building, installed a pipe that he later went into, and then trapped himself between the pipe he exited out of and a huge wall that he later destroys Bombette. What does he do, you ask? Well, he tells you that there's seemingly a lovely item that he has for you, but you must pay him 64 coins. Then he has more and more items that he seemingly has for the same price. What was I even complaining about with Chetware? But this is far worse. Now, granted, he does give you star pieces, rare items, and even a badge you can't get anywhere else, but having to spend so much money to get it is not acceptable. Alright, next page. Okay, I have a lot. Oh wait, these are honorable mentions. I forgot. Excuse me, sir. I don't think you know who I am, but I should never have to pay 64 coins to get 3 star pieces when I could get 25 for absolutely free. I'm pretty sure in order to 100% the game, you have to get those star pieces anyway, so it doesn't... Technically, it's worth it. It just costs a lot. I don't know. Wait, dried shrooms for 64 coins? I can get about 20 of those at the dry outpost for half of that price. Now, I'll admit, he does the badge thing right. This one and only bump attack badge is 10 coins cheaper than what you get at Ralph's badge shop, which is a plus. But when players are destined to continue listening to this guy and throwing their coins away to dried shrooms filling up their inventory, they think that there's still more things that can be obtained. Luckily, this doesn't go on for very long, and you eventually only get dried shrooms from him when you're done. Now, while I appreciate Nintendo for creating characters like these who you end up having to spend your coins on that doesn't do anything, as well as being a common theme for some games just take it way too far, apparently. And to imagine this isn't even the worst NPC in Paper Mario. Before we cover the king of awful NPCs in this game, I'd like to go through some honorable mentions. Fearsome 5, a group of Yoshi kids who get lost in the dangerous Jade Jungle where he must join forces with Sushi that somehow gets stuck in a tree to hunt them down. They do nothing but eat up your time as Mario tries to hunt him down. I couldn't put them on the list simply because they're Yoshis, which happen to be one of my favorite video game characters of all time, as well as the cutest video game character of all time. According to who exactly? I don't know. That you're not gonna find an answer like this in a video that was written in like 2017. So there's no way I would put these guys on the list. There's just no way at all. Guard door. Where and how does this guy get his voice? A talking Bowser door who traps you, quizzes you, and having you to fight the Koopa Bros all equal nothing but time consumption for hardcore gamers. This guy's bad, but I didn't really consider him to be among the absolute worst. As it turns out, I was just plainly mad at this character all throughout Chapter 8, which is also the only chapter he appears in and is my reason why I spared him from the list. Wise Wisterwood. You're probably totally wondering why this was pending to be on the list or not. Somehow in my eyes I see a big tree that's supposed to be the ruler of Flower Fields but does absolutely nothing during this check. He's a tree! What do you expect him to be capable of? I see a big tree that's supposed to be the ruler of Flower Fields is absolutely living. And the way he talks sounds like he's hiding something from Mario. He might even be hiding the same thing from his people. Heck, it's possible he could be working. Nah, this is kind of a ridiculous, baseless accusation. A lot of people watching this would probably likely think I'm ridiculous. Of course! Listen, past me. You are just making this up. You are just throwing accusations out there for no reason. You're the next Keemstar, I guess. Except without all the actually discussing things he's done, I guess. Honestly, this guy seems a little bit suspicious. But for anyone who thinks otherwise, I gave him a skip. But until we meet again in Wisterwood. What do I have against Wisterwood? Okay, Koopa Coot. I don't think I've ever seen an elder more needy in video games. He's an elder. He's like a crippled old man. He's dependent. Whatever. At least this is an honorable mention. Koopa Coot is an elderly Koopa Troopa that always wants you to do stuff for him. When it comes to getting him a book, a mushroom, a tonic, retrieving his missing wallet, and above all, well, his missing wallet, that's kind of... I don't think he can do that on his own. And I think it's appreciated that he even has help in the first place. I'm just saying, I think to complain about, oh, I have to find something that's like really, really important to him, that is like generally considered important by a lot of people. Why am I complaining about that? I don't know. I was stupid and didn't know anything. Oh, a fix run-on sentence. I don't care. This is a YouTube video. Okay, and above all, running back and forth to Toad Town into the Koopa Village, getting what he wants. I mean, this is a run-on sentence that I'd probably write nowadays. It doesn't really matter. Granted, he does give you things in return. Other than a single coin, you also get star pieces, and you even get access to the Toad Town playroom by obtaining the silver and gold credit later. That's the most he can do, and that's fine. The fact that he even gives you a coin at all is more than I could ever. I was greedy. I was a greedy bastard, you know. I'm still a bastard, of course. This guy isn't bad. I found this NPC refreshingly not bad, and even through this as a video game, I still respect my elders. When it comes to even Koopa. Okay, so I basically went back on my original sentiments with this character. Maybe I haven't changed. And with that said, let's go. The #1 worst NPC in Paper Mario, Junior Troopa. I really have to give an A+ on how annoying this character is. If you want a boss enemy for Paper Mario, you can stop looking if you want. If you're thinking the Koopalings, think again. Thinking Bowser Jr., well, close enough. Junior Troopa is an obnoxious, unbearably bad Koopa Troopa that's apparently still in his eggshell and beats up Goomba in the prologue, saying that the place where Mario obtained the hammer happens to be his playground, where he then must fight him. Then he reappears after you defeat the Koopa Bros and challenge Mario to yet another fight. Then he tries to chase Mario down in the Forever Forest and ends up running into him on his way back into the Toad Town right before beating Chapter 3. Then you find him swimming from island to island, trying to catch Mario after completing Chapter 5. To challenge you to yet another fight. Isn't that enough to make any player throw their controller across the room in frustration? He reappears continuously during Mario's quests, and even in places like Bowser's Castle and Shiver Snowfield. There are times Junior Troopa is putting himself in danger to take out Mario that would probably make people like Junior Troopa for the fact that he never gives up trying to fight him. He's even considered to be Bowser Jr. as a young child, which would make sense considering that Super Mario Sunshine was released 2 years before the Japanese version of the game. Mario's Story came out on the Nintendo GameCube. I don't know why I'm referring to Paper Mario as its Japanese release title. I don't know. It came out on the Nintendo GameCube, where... Oh, wait, no. Was I referring to Mario's Story as in what Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door used to be called? Well, Bowser Jr. is there as Bowser's son. I'm not going to explain anything more about Bowser Jr. and Sunshine since we're talking about Paper Mario. I don't know. I don't remember what I was talking about here. Junior Troopa serves as nothing but a worthless boss fight for 5 minutes until another 5-minute battle someplace else, and he seems to always reappear after a major event such as the end of a specific chapter where he challenges Mario to fight near the end of the game in Chapter 8, where you think you'll be treated to a battle with the Koopa Bros. Junior Troopa rams right past them, killing them all. I honestly would have thought that, to be completely honest, I actually would have loved to have a rematch with the Koopa Bros. I always liked them as a... I always liked them, honestly. And I think I remember being pretty disappointed when Junior Troopa just barrels through all of them. It's kind of funny, but it's a little disappointing because I don't want to fight Junior Troopa for the 1 trillionth time. I guess it makes sense in the climactic state of things, given that, you know, it's the last chapter of the game. It's got to count, I guess. I don't know. I would have much rather preferred fighting the Koopa Bros instead of this vile blob of a character. If they were just going to throw in a Junior Troopa at all, I'd want to fight both the Koopa Bros and Junior Troopa at least. Damn! Well, that's one way to get it done. Okay. Even just looking at this character makes me groan in full annoyance. Sure, he is a challenge considering how he gets tougher each time you fight him, but he just makes no attempt to rival any of the stronger monsters in the Paper Mario bestiary, such as Sensi Koopa and the Master. That's kind of a... Those are optional. I don't know why I'm comparing, like, an integral boss fight to bonus fights. Even though he keeps trying harder and harder and working out so much, getting stronger and stronger, that may make him a little more likable, but that makes no change to who he is. Especially since there seems to be no reason at all for him to be wanting to fight Mario. What was I talking about? I honestly think the Junior Troopa is the worst NPC that I've ever had the misfortune of running into while playing. Oh, it's strange, though, is that NPCs in Paper Mario are everywhere. I'm literally ending this off like a Phantom Strider video. What am I doing, bro? NPCs in Paper Mario are everywhere. I love talking to them and seeing what's on their heads. And the fact that there's so many of them, that's what I said, right? Yeah, okay. I personally think that all NPCs are wonderful masterpieces. Sure, they may be annoying, useless, not likable, or serve as worthless boss fights to eat your time away. They may be generic toads, or not exactly many, but they're all good. But that was sad foreshadowing, given that Paper Mario Sticker Star and Color Splash would just have characters replaced by generic Toads and only be generic Toads, and that really sucks, honestly. But I don't think the team behind the Paper Mario franchise has any control over that. You can reveal their secrets by You can reveal their secrets by violating table manners and make Toads dizzy, as well as tattling on them. Oh, okay. As well as tattling on them with Goombario. So, honestly, I had to look hard to find these otherwise abysmal characters. Wait, hold on. Correct. Oh, wait, no. I think I asked a family member to, like, correct me on some of this before I would turn it into, video form, I'm guessing. Do you think I missed some? What's your least favorite NPC in Paper Mario? Well, if I did, then let me know in the comments about what your list would look like, and thanks for watching. Hey everybody, did you like this video? Be sure to give it a like, you know you want to, and be sure to subscribe to Gorn123 for more videos uploaded. You can also watch my previous video on the left side of the screen to watch my tutorial on how to apply Gecko codes without the use of the Homebrew channel. You can go check that out if you like, and remember to subscribe. See ya, smiley face. And yes, I have the script to that video too. I don't know if that's what's next. I'm parched though, hold on. Okay, so I think what this video was a 1-year anniversary, which in like 2 weeks, Gorn123 is gonna become 7 years old. My YouTube channel is gonna be 7 years old. That's honestly insane to think about. Yeah, this was my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. This was a special that I did, and it's a new Super Mario Bros. Wii review. So, like I said, I was reviewing games all the way back then, and I would basically return to that format with all this newfound knowledge on how to make better videos. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to officially announce that I now have a new backdrop. I hope you guys like it. It features my entire Mario plush collection, as well as some are from other franchises such as Sonic, Tails, Charmander, and Pikachu, because Charmander and Pikachu are franchises, I guess, but that's besides the point. So basically, my old backdrop was a bookshelf that was actually at this exact wall right here, and I basically displayed all my entire plush collection at the time, which is now over there. If I wanted to pull them out, if I felt like I could, but I wanted to basically replace it with a green screen. I think it looks a lot better. And it's also just not in the way. So I just think that's a lot better. Anyway, I'd like to announce, and for real this time, that I've been on YouTube for an entire year, and I've started it on this day, January 26th, 2016, uploading pretty slowly to YouTube with my oldest series of my own new Super Mario Bros. Wii creations and remixes. We don't talk about that. If you're interested in that, there's a video on this channel you guys are watching on now, where I basically decided I'll just compile all the remixes I've made and put it into all one video. I didn't even listen to them because I refused to actually listen to them, or at least listen to them all the way through. I knew I wasn't capable of it because they're just that bad. I'm not going to talk about it though. There's more information on that in the actual video itself. If you're interested, go look for it if you want, of course. It's bad though, so just be careful. And now I've totally changed with showing my face, doing reactions, and doing several gaming videos. I know this sounds like a little bit cheesy, but I can't thank you guys enough for just supporting me and watching my videos. You guys really blow me away sometimes. I mean, I didn't change that sentiment. I still feel the same way today. And since my new Super Mario Bros. Wii hacking shenanigans have been really successful on my channel, and one of the examples being my old preview for Cliff Super Mario Bros. Wii, which currently stands at over 3,000 views, which is just crazy. So in this video, I'm going to be doing one of my all-time favorite things, reviewing a game. It was just meant to be. More specifically, reviewing new Super Mario Bros. Wii. Let's go! Yippee! He totally says that, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think he does. I think there's actually an audio bite of Mario saying yippee, which is, it's pretty funny actually. But yeah, basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, I actually joined the new Super Mario Bros. Wii modding community a long time ago. I think it was like 2015, maybe even earlier than that. But this was also before I had a YouTube channel and I started uploading there to kind of talk about development. And it's a mod that probably still has a download. It's not very good. Like, you probably won't find anything amazing in it. I still think it's quite a novelty, though, I guess, to a certain degree. but that's just kind of it. It's just a 2-world mod. I just liked World 6, so I made a mod based around it in a way. The game starts out like all traditional Mario games. Peach is kidnapped for the 300th time. In like true video game fashion, you're the one for the job. Gameplay takes place in 8 unique worlds, which include grassland, desert, Arctic, beach, jungle, mountains, sky world, and volcano. Just like a regular platforming game, you run, jump, defeat enemies, but you're also able to make combos of jumps, spin on enemies to defeat them, and several other sweet moves from our plumber. This is also the first 2D Mario platformer to support 4 players simultaneously, which just brings out the whole fun for the entire family, assuming that they know what they're doing, of course, unlike my own family. And just like every single game in the series, a flagpole at the end of every... That's not true. Not every game in the franchise ended that way. And Super Mario Bros. 3 ends with, like, you'd probably call it a roulette block nowadays. Well, that's only one example I can give. Oh, Super Mario World has, like, a gate that you go through. It's not a flagpole like in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, New Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario Brothers, and I mean, yeah, there's a lot of games that end that way, but not every single one ends that way. I gotta stop spreading misinformation, ladies and gentlemen, to finish off every single stage. There's also a ton of hidden secrets to find in each stage, which either contain a ton of coins, lives, star coins, and even a secret goal, each stage also includes unique enemies that have never appeared in a previous Mario game, well, some of them anyway. One thing I really like about this game are the precise controls. It's really fun to play and also really challenging. It's really not. I actually have a very... I think I actually, like, re-beat the game, like, a couple months ago, and I think it literally, in total, took me, like, 8 hours. I mean, it was probably hard at the time, but I don't really agree with that. I don't really agree with that sentiment. It's actually generally considered a pretty easy game, and I think that's fine because I think the selling point is 4-player co-op, and if the platforming was more difficult or was supposed to be geared towards, I don't know, solo play, then that kind of goes against what the game was advertised to do. What else was there? Even a secret goal, it's just well, some of them anyway. Okay, there are, however, times where the game can get a bit too hard. What? There's some really annoying enemies, which for some reason I'm not going to list because I kind of forgot. I'm lazy. There are 2 other modes in the game, which are free play and Coin Rush. In Coin Rush, you compete against other players as you try to get as many coins as possible, and in free play mode, you just get to play for fun. There are a ton of similarities between the previous installments in this version, but this game is truly a must-have if you're planning to get a Wii. I mean, that's good advice, honestly. I will stop talking about the game for this video, but this is a review. Why would you stop talking about the game? Whatever. But the reason why I like it so much is because of how easy it is to be able to hack it. If it wasn't for the new Super Mario Bros. Wii hacking community, I would have not been able to make my hack Clip Super Mario Bros. Wii, which is actually doing very... I just said that. Definitely my favorite thing about it by far is what I was able to pull off, to texture hacks, to music, and of course custom levels. I'm actually talking complete shit here, because by texture hacks, I think the only modification I really made that could even be considered my own texture is just using the darkness filter on Fire Alpaca. And I'm pretty sure I borrowed tile sets from other mods, which I probably did not even give proper credit to. I think I did. I don't remember though. That's why you probably shouldn't play it. I don't even know where I left off. I'm just so baffled by everything that I'm saying here. And of course, custom levels. I know most people have already done it, and I know most people don't do it anymore. Well, that's especially true now. I know that it's still active, and there are several users on the Red Hat Cafe that still work on NSMBW projects. And that was a forms that was like a form board that was specifically meant for like a new Super Mario Bros. U modding or just other Wii U modding stuff, which is probably not relevant anymore. It probably is. There's probably still a community there, but it's not as prominent as it used to be. Okay, so then it's like, hey guys, I want to officially announce that I will be starting Let's Plays on other people's new Super Mario Bros. Wii hacks. That never happened. I've practically been holding on to several of these hacks for the longest time, and since our evolution is non-existent, this is when I can bring them out and play them. Hope you guys will like it, and of course I will give credit to the original creator, as well as link the download. I'm so sorry for that, by the way. I'm leaving that in because it's kind of funny. The hack in the description. I'm also closing in on 100 subscribers. Oh man. So if you're watching this right now, make sure that you're subscribed. You don't want to miss out on my videos. And of course, thanks for watching and supporting me through this awesome year. And of course, I will see you in the next one. And see ya. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my video. What? Thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, then give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss a single video uploaded to my channel. You can also check out my other videos shown right here. Again, thanks so much for supporting me and being here with me. That's all I have to say. Okay, we're done with that one. I just want to start off by saying I have no idea, for the record, why it says script 22. Was this actually my 20-second script? I have no idea. This is a video that I actually did upload at one point. That was amongst, like, the top 10 videos that I've made that are Paper Mario related, as specific as that may be. This is my top 10 most annoying Paper Mario enemies list. And again, it's listed here, and I remember this being poorly written. Hey everybody, and welcome to my first top 10 video on YouTube. Before we jump straight into the list, I'd like to explain that Paper Mario is one of my all-time favorite video games. Everything about it was cute, colorful, fun, and challenging. It was also incredibly long, which is a good thing. And as you traverse these beautiful painted papery... Anyway, there are always times where you must run into an enemy and begin the fight with multiple minions from Bowser's clan. This list will count down the ones that were obnoxious, overpowering, ridiculously wide-ranged in attacks, or just plain bad. We're going to be counting down the top 10 most annoying enemies in Paper Mario, which, while enemies such as mini-bosses or main bosses count as enemies, they will not be found. If you can find them, and if you can find them wandering around places you traverse, it'll be on this list. So here we go, the top 10 most annoying Paper Mario enemies in Paper Mario. If you find these enemies in Paper Mario easy to take out, Paper Mario, that's great. Is Paper Mario just I'm gonna stop. It's just my own personal opinion, that's all. Here we go. Number 10, Dark Koopas. If you've seen normal Koopas, Paratroopas, Colorado, he's an NPC, he's not an enemy, then you should not be a stranger to the Dark Koopa. Only appearing in the sewers of Toad Town, these guys are probably the wackiest of them all. Because, well, they just, the way they look just kind of freaks me out, honestly, man. They just have something wrong with them. Yeah, they probably have a disability. We should probably make fun of that too while we're at it. That's probably how I felt back then, and not today. These guys have a total of 8 health points and defense power of 2. These Koopas having the same defense as normal Koopas is great, but if that's not enough, in this case it certainly isn't. Their shell spin attack can make you dizzy for 2 turns. They're very hard, if not impossible, to avoid. I'll be honest with you, I was never able to block this specific attack in any way ever. I'm pretty sure I have at one point, maybe like once. I remember it's hard. Like, it is hard to avoid because the timing is a little bit different, and I think I struggled more because I had played Paper Mario on Wii U Virtual Console, and that has input delay, but I don't know. I just think it's skill issue, honestly. I think a lot of this really falls into skill issue. In fact, the annoying NPCs one could also count as being skill issue in one way or another. Okay, you pretty much will be dazed and you'll be taking damage a lot. This is only number 10 on my list because this just puts into perspective how annoying these enemies truly are. Number 9. If you've disliked the regular Pokies, you'll hate the mummy Pokies. Coming out of coffins they live in and having the same HP and non-defense as normal Pokies, as well as never being able to jump on them without taking damage. This part annoys me a lot because there's an entry on here that is especially aggravating because this could have been invented if I had just equipped a certain badge that lets you jump on spiked enemies without taking damage and allows you to actually damage the spiked enemies by jumping on them. And it's a complete waste. I don't know why I don't know why I did this. You know, it's just not a good entry. Anyway, there's something disturbing about these kinds. If you do not block their spiky ball fling attack, or however you call it, you'll get poisoned for a few turns, which makes me question how long have those Pokies been inside these coffins. It's like they've been in there for so long they'll start to rot. And apparently so poisonous to Mario that he's, well, poisoned. That was the dumbest section I've ever scripted. I'm full of shame because of that. I know I got off on the wrong track. I think you get my point. Like normal Pokies, when there's one left standing, it has the normal 3 spiked balls on its body. Standing on the far back, it will pull another one of its buddies out of the ground, which is not only creepy but frustrating. You've already killed off the rest of the Pokies, or a swooper, and another one just appears into the battle. These enemies are very annoying to me when I first played the game, but thankfully they only appear in the Dry Ruins. Number 8. When you're traveling across land and getting to a place called the Koopa Village, you'd expect there to be peace and quiet and overall neatness, but then these herd of fuzzies, they come along and they take away the shells of many Koopa Troopas, embarrassing them for as long as they live. First, I like to point out that I hated regular fuzzies and forest fuzzies, but the absolute worst among them all are what is known as jungle fuzzies, only appearing in around the murk of Yoshi's Island. As the name suggests, in the jungle fuzzies will try to latch onto you, sucking your blood, forcing you to hit the A button constantly to prevent getting so much damage, while these guys only suck in you until they heal 4 health points, which is quite a lot. Hitting the control stick to the left repeatedly is one thing. It's easy for me because all I need to do is just do it with my right hand because I'm right-handed, as shown here. And I honestly, I do plan on actually replaying Paper Mario, streaming it on Twitch. If you don't follow me on Twitch, by the way, you should consider it. I link it on, in places. I'll probably link it in the description of this video. But, I'll still do that. I'm not gonna do this with my left hand over and over again. That's stupid. And I don't care if that's what the developers intended. I don't want to do it like that. But having to press a separate button is not what I enjoy doing. Oh, I put emphasis on button. Press a separate button is not what I enjoy doing. Not much difference. And just like forest fuzzies, these guys have the capability of multiplying. I thought regular fuzzies could do that too. Just like the Pokies in the last number, I hope you got the Power Bounce badge equipped with you. You'll need to kill these guys right on sight, and I was never good with that. Probably because Wii U Virtual Console input delay. Anyway, number 7. If you load the extreme attack power and defense of the cliffs of Mount Rugged that disguise themselves as rocks and dash onto you, so you need to get close to them, and that they're covered in spiked, having to kill them with an item of any powerful flower point costly attack from Bombett's a grindy... Nah. Attacked me hard when I started seeing these green puke-colored versions of these enemies as of Ghostly Gulch rummaging around trying to kill me. I thankfully have the same defense as regular cliffs, but unfortunately twice the HP. On top of that, they can charge their attack power, and if you miss the action command, then that's 8 of your HP gone. I hate these enemies so much, I try to avoid them at all costs, and thankfully did without encountering any once. If you face off against these jerks and hoard some mushrooms and make sure that Bombette is upgraded to the super rank, you're gonna need it. Number 6. Shy Guys, the adorable little things or a mess to prevent the spoileriness of their identity being screwed or whatever. I honestly don't know what I'm saying. Of course you don't, you dumbass. But there are literally dozens of Shy Guys in the toy box at least, and the Spy Guys really take the mustard. I really was trying to be unique and different. Instead of being like, take the cake, I was like, take the mustard! That's genius! I was not. They not only slingshot rocks at you that can cause 2 damage points, which I'll now refer to as... Even if you use the action command correctly on top of that, he's able to take an ability away from you, which I find very annoying and just plain trollish, if that's supposed to be a word. Nonetheless, he can also summon other Shy Guys into the fight, and not just Shy Guys, but also Medi Guys, which are able to heal everybody, besides Mario, of course, including himself, yet thankfully has weak attack power. Spy Guys are truly annoying and OP, and are definitely an enemy you should try to avoid entirely. Number 5. If you've progressed far enough in the Paper Mario, then you should start seeing Magic Koopas star in battles. Enemies that never fight alone come in many colors and equipped with 12 HP at most. These guys are basically handicapped for groups of enemies. They can heal, give more attack power, give more defense, make enemies transparent, give them an electric charge, and also has attacks of its own, such as teleporting over you and whacking you with their wand or a big and powerful magic ball that comes out of it, dealing about 8 damage points. Fortunately, when there's only one left standing, he just runs away when Mario and his partner's turns are out. Number 4, as you trek and trudge through Dry Desert, which I consider one of the worst places to be, the first enemies you'll see are Shy Guy's ancestors? Only appearing in the Dry Desert, these things called the bandits are the fastest enemies in the game, making them very hard to avoid outside of a battle. And when they have the chance to attack, they'll steal coin from Mario, dealing 2 damage points if you forget to action command. The creepiest thing about these guys have to be when you forget to do action commands, They use this creepy grin to taunt you, which is totally disrespectful. If you don't attack the bandits that have your coins, they'll run away from the fight. Your hard-earned coin you got from killing enemies, hitting trees, crawling through bushes, and helping old people is now gone forever. Okay, that was kind of funny. Helping old people, he's gone forever. This is very high on my list because honestly, this is an enemy that does what no other enemy does, and just gets the heck out of it. I don't agree with me placing bandits this high onto the list because it's just coins. You grind for you get coins all the time as you play this game. Magic Koopas are far worse because, again, they can provide all these special effects, and again, their melee attack is not melee attack. Their charged ball attack is very powerful. That I don't agree with that at all. I'm sorry. Number 3. If you know the Mario Bros. Oldest quest, then Hammer Bros. Shouldn't be a big surprise for you, especially how you'd be expecting them to appear in this game in the first place, given the new design and different styled hammers they throw. These guys are notorious for constantly tossing hammers at you first strike, and 5 hammers that are thrown from them, which must be blocked individually. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with it being placed this high though, because they're annoying. Oh my god. And if that's not enough, some of their hammer attacks can actually shrink Mario for a few turns. By the way, they reduce damage by 2 because of the helmet on their head. I'm glad Nintendo only put these baddies at the end of the game, and very little because I did totally get why players would find this set to be obnoxious in many ways. Okay, here's the dumbest entry at number 2. As being spotted on the last stage of the game as well, Koopa Trolls are not only common, but they're actually worse than Hammer Bros. How are they worse than Hammer Bros? Seriously. Again, get the spike jump badge or whatever it's called. All of your problems will melt away, alright? First off, they have 8 HP. They can reduce damage by 2. And have an unusually wide range of attacks. The regular Shell Toss move can mean 3 less HP for you. But that's just the tip of the iceberg because they can call in more of their buddies whenever they want to attack during their turn, making this very frustrating. What's more is that they will likely power up their attacks, and if you miss the action on command, that's about 20% of your health points gone. What's worse is that whenever there are Magic Koopas on the scene, they can power up their attacks even stronger, making these guys even more deadly. Oh, and did I say that you can't jump on these guys either? It's because of the tiny spike. You need to man up, Mario! What was I talking about? It's like, did I not know that that badge existed? Like, I could have ranked these lower if I had just used that badge, and I never did. That drives me crazy, and I'm totally going to equip that, like, first thing and never unequip it on my playthrough on Twitch. Whenever that's gonna be. I don't really know when. Before I get to number 1, let's check through some honorable mentions. I love honorable mentions. I need to drink water so bad. Supulas. I couldn't put this on the list because they weren't really as bad as I thought. Sure, they suck on you, requiring you to press the A button rapidly, but they weren't bad enough to end up on this list. Added the fact that they only appear in Crystal Palace. White Clubbas. An enemy that only appears in the Crystal Palace and over Shiver Mountain. These guys were easy to deal with, so I couldn't put this on the list, even if their attacks aren't easy to action command on. Why are you white? Many guys. As I explained when reviewing Spy Guys, their main purpose is to heal everyone in the battle, including themselves, but they have weak attack power, so there was no way I could fit this guy on the list. Dry Bones. These guys were annoying, but not annoying enough. In fact, so unannoying that they don't even have to do a decent... They don't even get to have a decent spot anywhere on this list. They toss bones at you, causing 3 damage points, and when they die to fight with more enemies, they'll come back to life after a few turns if you don't kill the rest of their enemies quick enough. They're not too annoying. They're just not too annoying. Frost Piranhas. Coming from their ancestors of piranha plants and putrid piranhas, these guys are known for their cold breath, which can freeze you in a big block of ice for a few turns. But these guys, again, were easy to deal with, and they only appeared over Shiver Mountain, which is why I left this guy out. And here I go. Oh, so, you know, something I probably should mention, I put a lot of, like, I hit the enter key a lot. And this isn't even how you're supposed to do paragraphs. And the way I do my scripts now is I just kind of, like, keep a lot of... I basically make very, 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 very long paragraphs, because I have an easier time reading it for the most part, honestly. I don't know why. I put way too many of these in the script, and it probably made it a little... I probably wasted paper. That's all I really have to say. And here we go. The number 1 most annoying Mario enemy is Dupligos. And honestly, this is a fair... This is pretty fair, although I still think I wouldn't rank it this high. Not that I would know what I would rank it number 1, but maybe I could do this list again when I play the game. There's this trillion enemy that leaves players in a long pause questioning things like, wait, Mario's a twin brother? Cooper is a twin brother? Oh, look how many twin sisters Bombette has. I didn't know I had another Luigi, and those are two Goompaws in Colorado's. No, it's not any of that. Those are evil things in sheets known as good duple ghosts in the Crystal Palace. You'll start encountering these guys in segments where you must hit all of the imposters with your hammer to prevent starting a fight. When you do, you most likely won't be able to run away from a fight like this. They have the capability of transforming into your partner and stealing their moves to use against Mario. I hope your active party member isn't Watt or Bo, because you're going to have some bad luck over there. These annoying cow pies have 15 HP and an attack power of up to 3, not counting their transforming ability. What's good about these enemies is that if you don't start seeing them, you don't start seeing them until Chapter 7, but I personally suggest that duplicates are the most annoying enemies in Chapter blah, 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 blah. We get it. Okay, I know I wasn't able to include every enemy on this list, just as why I should hear from you. Why would I want to include every enemy in the game? Because not every single one of them are built the same way, and they're not all annoying in whatever. If anything, it would make more sense to be like, all right, Paper Mario enemy tier list, I guess, in terms of annoyingness. Well, which is why I should hear from you. I should hear that sounds so confrontational. That was the most annoying enemy you've ever faced in this game, and why. Leave your thoughts in the comments below of what your list would look like. And if you've just came to watch the video, watch my earlier content right here, be sure to give this video a like. And if you like my content, be sure to subscribe to me and enjoy my future content, or I kill you and your whole family, I guess. Alright, yeah, so that was that video. That's 3 scripts down. I don't know how many left I have, but I need to drink some more water. Okay, this video is like the most bizarre I've ever done. Given that it has nothing to do with what I do today, this was a tutorial video of an and I mentioned this earlier. This is the script I'm talking about. This was my tutorial video on how you can basically run Gecko codes without the Gecko OS app. And the reason I made this tutorial was because some people's Wii remotes have Wii Motion Plus built inside, and because the application isn't updated to accompany that, or take whatever, however you're supposed to English nowadays. This was a video that was basically like, all right, here's a way that you can use Revolution instead. So if you don't know anything about Wii modding, this probably won't make a whole lot of sense. That's why I have a bunch of timestamps in this video where you can basically skip around to each individual script. And if there's one you don't understand, that's fine, you can skip it, it's alright. If you know what I'm talking about, keep watching. I think you might find this interesting and hilarious, I would think. What's up, everybody? GornGuy123 here, and this is my first tutorial video on YouTube, and my last. Okay, so I made a Twitter thread not too long ago where I was looking through an old folder of a bunch of relics from the past, which included for YouTube. And one of those images was a thumbnail that specifically said how to reply to YouTube comments correctly. What was I talking about? Why would you need a tutorial for that? I don't know. For those of you who are wondering why I decided to oh my god. For those of you who are wondering why I decided to do a tutorial instead of a top 10, which is what happened, I've included in my first news update video, but I'll explain that at the end of the video. Oh yeah, my first news update. First of all, I don't think I have the script for that, but I have the script for the second news update video, and that, it's funny and it's really interesting because I used to actually do like update type content. I would stop eventually. It's weird that I called it news update because that implied it was like, I don't know, news of how screwed up the world is right now. But no, that's not what those series of videos were. It was just all about me because that was important back then, I guess. So I have been in the first news to explain at the end of the video, or if you're very eager to find out now, click the annotation at the top right corner of the screen to skip to the end of the video. I miss YouTube annotations. You know how some YouTube videos are actually ruined because they removed annotations from YouTube? I don't care how outdated it looks. They could have updated it, and they could have made videos. They could have had those old videos be watchable all over again. Otherwise, you get no context for anything that goes on in some of those really old uploads, and that just really sucks, honestly. And you know, essentially, Especially considering that it was always convenient that YouTube allowed you to basically, without having to use editing software of any kind, to have to put your own captions in if you wanted to. And especially have them linked to literally any website. Having a way to literally go to a website using an annotation link was cool, and YouTube just got rid of that. Why? They just like making it worse, I guess. Alright, so generally speaking, hackers are always eager to study a game's file system and create so-called cheat codes for a specific game. I say that like it's such an alien term. Whether it's infinite lives, invincible forever, or simply codes that apply major changes to the game's engine. What? Since when? And the Nintendo Wii's chock full of games is no exception. Cheat codes for those games were often referred to as Gecko codes, which is what the Homebrew app Gecko OS uses for these codes. However, it's still possible to have a Wii, and more specifically Wii remotes that are too new, such as the new Wii remotes, that have Wii Motion Plus built inside of them. But upon opening a certain Homebrew apps, you may notice something very wrong with the next procedure. Your Wii remotes shut off. Oh no! With Wii remotes that have built-in Motion Plus and not just the accessory attached to the end of your remote, there's nothing that can be done with this problem. While some Homebrew apps are practically unusable with this issue, cheat codes can still be enabled using an alternate method regarding the use of Revolution, thanks to the support of codehandler.bin and any codes that can be found in a regionary.gct. It's possible to hack many Nintendo Wii games using this method. One last thing to point out before we jump straight into this video is that I'll just assume you already have your Wii Homebrew enabled for this tutorial. If you need help installing apps on your Wii to advance past the setup, I'll link other helpful tutorials in the description below to let you know how to install the Wii Homebrew channel and how to use it, and Revolution on how to use it, you know, because this is I don't care about convenience. I want you to go somewhere else and not my video, I guess. Oh man. With that said, here we go. First off, you'll need a game to break. No, not literally. A Wii, duh. An SD card, a computer, most of all, a TV, which I can't believe I said lol. And also, I have a monitor right here, and if I wanted to, I could have that be my TV screen. So, get it right, Goran guy of the past. To start off, you need a program called Ocarina Cheat Code Manager, which can be downloaded from the link in the description below. Once downloaded, you must extract the zip file. Okay, this part of the script actually kind of pisses me off. With either the following: WinZip, WinRAR, 7-zip. Okay, good start. I didn't zoom in correctly. Whatever. You guys know. Archiver, Cam Unzip, PZip, JZip. Nobody cares. Okay. Get 7-zip. Use 7-zip for the rest of your life. It's free. It's open source. You don't have to pay for anything like WinZip and WinRAR. There are people out there that actually buy WinRAR, or let alone there are people that literally pay money for WinRAR, and that makes me upset because 7-zip is just right there on the table. Just use that, please. Anyway, for this video, I simply use 7-zip. If you don't have a after extracting to a place such as your desktop, then so begins our setup of cheat codes and possibly game mechanic and manipulation. Because that exists. You must visit geckocodes.org and find the game that you're applying cheat codes to. After selecting the game you choose to hack, you must make sure that it's in the correct region. For this video, I use Super Mario Galaxy 2, and its region ID, which is necessary for this configuration, uses an American region ID of SB4E01. The E in the ID determines the version of Wii in the game you're using. Since I live in North America, this is what the ID reads. If you live in Japan, the ID differs to... Doesn't matter. You guys know. Open up Ocarina Cheat Code Manager and type in the region and name of the game you're hacking, and remember to store them with a store name /ID button near the top right corner, so that the program doesn't get confused about what game you're applying cheat codes to. And now it's time to start applying cheat codes to our games. To do this, click. I lost my place. Well, click the Add Code Category comment button on the bottom left corner of the window, and then a window should pop up where you must copy and paste the name of the code you're using, and click OK. For this video, I'll demonstrate a few general codes to prove that they work. You must copy the code itself and paste it into the Code Contents tab, which is simple enough, right? If your code has a comment, which basically means a description that comes after the code content at the bottom, this must be copied and pasted into the Code Comment tab. If your code does not have a description, then leave it blank. For most people that only want to apply certain codes to their game, want all the cheat codes they want, but don't want them all active at once, are left with the ability to put check marks as the codes you want enabled, so that you don't have to keep adding any other codes to your game manually. Repeat the code adding sequence until you have all the codes you want in, which in this case I only have 4. After applying the codes, export the whole mess into a GCT file, and be sure to give it a name that refers to the game's region. Wait, is that... No, that's not it. Hold on. I'm just not going to show the camera work because it's probably miserable. Then create a codes folder on the root of your SD card, which is the layout of your card when you open it from my computer. And I included this, and I know this is probably common knowledge now, but I included this because I didn't know for a long time what the root of the SD card was. So I was like, alright, I'll include it here. I figured it's probably a good idea. What else? What does it say? Okay. After placing your GC2 file in the root of your codes folder, we now must download the extensions to support loading the cheats. Go to the Revolution wiki, also located in the description, and download the zip file containing the 2 files for loading the codes, where we must put the use of our previously downloaded 7-zip and extract these 2 files to where you keep your Revolution folder on the SD card. Now we're all set to get hacking. Now, the reason why it says rest of dialogue goes here was because I would basically improv the rest of the things that you had to set up. That's basically it. Like my video. Also, at the end of this video, I was like, alright, so about the top 10 video not coming out at all is because of the technical issues regarding the video itself. It turned out to be too difficult to develop for. I'm a Watch Mojo video now inside of the video where they're talking about the top 10 worst video game consoles of all time. And ended up being scrapped due to my video editor simply not being powerful enough to handle it, all because of low memory that cannot be dealt with or just an error that cannot... I misspelled B. Be determined. I'm very sorry, everyone. I'd get this resolved and I would eventually upload it, but it's not a good video. That's why I deleted it, honestly. This one's a pretty weird video topic. It's top 10 winter theme songs in video games, most of which I've never played before. Hey everybody, I'm Going3, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, Christmas is getting nearer and nearer, and for this holiday season, I decided to try something new. Introducing the top 10 winter BGMs in video games, which basically means background music. It's not the first time I've done a top 10 video. The first few attempts just failed miserably, but now that I'm finally able to do a top 10 for Christmas, I figured it was about time that I finally created one. Just keep in mind that this is just my opinion. Everybody has different opinions on certain things, and if you have any forms of criticisms, just use something like, you should have used such and so, apart from you suck and I hate you. So just keep in mind that this list is very limited of songs. This list is very limited of songs from games that I know of. Not true, because I've never played Final Fantasy 9. Wait, that's 11, isn't it? If there's a song you think should have appeared on this list, then just comment down below about what your list will look like. But, you know, with that being said, let's just get straight to this video with number 10. At least the formatting was better this time around. Banjo-Kazooie. Now, I've never actually played this game, much like all the other games in this list. Which is ironic, isn't it? Because I just talked about that. This game probably has the goofiest atmosphere of any game I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of or even played this game before. I don't know why that bothers me. I don't know why that part of the script bugs me so much. One of the stages in particular is, of course, winter-themed, and what should definitely be noted about it is the music. With all the instruments, the way they're used, and just the atmosphere of it all makes this the perfect theme song to use for this particular stage. That's all I had to say about number 10. Oh my god. Seriously? I just like how... I basically had no idea what I was talking about in terms of music back then. I know quite a bit more now because I'm like obsessed with music as a media form. You guys probably might know that. This is gonna hurt to read through. It's just a fair warning. At number 9, I have Final Fantasy XI Online version Starlight Celebration. I've been wanting to... I don't even think this is Christmas related at all, or winter themed. I've been wanting to play Final Fantasy IX for the longest time, but I haven't really been able to due to technical issues I've been having lately. What? So I'll need to wait on that. However, in Final Fantasy XI, there is a Christmas-related thing in the Starlight Celebration to start off the Christmas decorations, the sky, and most importantly of all, just listen to that beautiful music. Also, what I meant by Final Fantasy IX was because I downloaded an ISO of the game from the internet, and there is a PS1 emulator that you can run on your Wii through Homebrew. And it's kind of like the Project 64 situation, where a lot of the games tend to have graphical glitches, some of which make the game unplayable or really hard to play. That's what I meant by technical issues, but I can go buy Final Fantasy IX on Steam if I really wanted to. Like, you can play the game on your computer. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if it's got a bunch of changes or it sucks or something to play on PC. I don't know. I don't imagine that's the case. I've always been interested in playing specifically the 9th game because I love the soundtrack for that game. It resonated with me growing up. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I was having a hard time debating which winter theme I would choose for this video from the Mario Kart franchise, simply because there was a decent handful of them, but in the end, I had to go with DK Pass for Mario Kart DS. This is the perfect theme to use in racing on a track like this, and while the DS version is pretty simplistic, the theme has been remixed for the release of Mario Kart Wii. Oh wait, hold on a second. It remains one of my favorite theme songs for a Mario Kart game, perhaps right next to Rainbow Road's theme. Probably one of the cutest games of 2015 has to be Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U. In World 5 of the game, you eventually come across a level entitled A Little Light Snowfall. When you play the level, you're of course treated to the same wintry formula, but what's new here is the music. I just love how these feel like pure orchestral sounds being used here to make the song. Well, besides the Christmas sleigh bells ringing, I don't really. What was I talking about? It's probably good. It's probably a good track. I don't remember what it sounds like. Now, before you're ready your pitchforks, just hear me out. I know I used 2 Mario songs in one top 10, but technically I consider Paper Mario, Mario Kart, Mario Party, of course, the main series, all different franchises, but still Mario. If you think otherwise, then I apologize. Paper Mario, though, is still one of my all-time favorite games, which there was no point in me saying that. I love the story of the... Oh, this is literally a different section of the video. Okay. Sorry about that. All the story, battle system, characters, heck, I think I love everything about it, but one of my favorite chapters in the game has to be Chapter 7, A Star Spirit on Ice. Once you've obtained the 2 key items necessary to get into the Crystal Palace, you'll hear this tune along the way. I still really like the music in Chapter 7, though, honestly. It has this really cheery vibe to it that makes everything playing through these incredibly difficult stages much more enjoyable than with, I bet, any other music. Next up, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, The Temple of Droplets. Unlike the other themes I've shown you thus far, this one has a more of a mysterious theme to it than happy or enjoyable, which really... Or enjoyable. What? Are you implying that mysterious tracks can't be enjoyable? What are you trying to say past me? Which really adds to the atmosphere of it all. I bet you guys remember the Kingdom of Droplets, unlike I have. The very slippery ice, all the enemies, the puzzles, the backtracking. But what makes this the most memorable dungeon, of course, no, the music. I don't think the music really made this section of it, but maybe I'm just making things up. Kirby Air Ride, one of the very few Kirby spin-off games, and I can safely say that many people have played this game. Even though I haven't, and yet I totally used the joke before. I'm not that funny. I should probably stop talking about this. One of the stages of all time in this game is called Frozen Hillside. When you go play the stage, you'll not only realize how much of a challenge the stage is, but you also notice how great the music is. Just be careful to not fall off the cliffs while jamming to this tune. I'm giving such horrible descriptions of these tracks. I'm not selling the point of why I enjoy them as much as I have. Pokemon is a very successful franchise indeed. I was actually introduced to Pokemon by Pokemon Go, which does sound strange to some. I'm sure a lot of you have played X and Y. I bet. Gorn guy, don't use that joke again or we'll unsubscribe. And while the game's overall soundtrack is really well put together, there's one that stands out from the rest, and that is Snowbell's City theme, which sounds just beautiful and truly shows what a Christmas song should be. If you need any help getting into the Christmas spirit, then just listen to this for a few minutes and then go to the world's largest Christmas store and sip some hot cocoa. That'll help out. That was alright, I guess. Okay, and at number 1, probably should mention this one more time, but I think you already know by now, Super Mario 3D World's Snowball Park theme. Oh, what is it with me being such a big fan of Mario when most people already assume I'm a Zelda fan? In the stage of Super Mario 3D World, the properly titled Snowball Park, you'll notice, first of all, there are Pokies in the snow, and the second thing you'll realize is that the music is just perfect. It really feels like I'm playing a Mario game when I listen to this, and I personally love Mario in the wintry atmosphere. This tune is actually a remix of a pre-existing song that exists in Super Mario 3D Land 2 years before the release of the World, but it doesn't sound as good as the more modern version. Seriously, though, who wouldn't want to go skating or have a snowball fight after hearing this song? I certainly would. And that is my list of the top 10 best winter theme songs in video games. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, I will you guys in the next video. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a snowball fight with my sis. Until then, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hey, guys. I'm just going to, whenever there's like an outro segment, I'm just going to read it like that because I think it's funnier. This was a review on Super Mario Run. Now, I actually have a very old Let's Play series of Super Mario Run. I didn't finish the game, but I got pretty far into it. It's probably interesting, I guess, to a certain degree. But this was my review on it. Christmas, a wonderful time of year. A wonderful time to play Flappy Bird. I think I got this. I think I got this. Come on, come on, come on. Belt buckles. Everybody says that when they're distressed or annoyed or defeated. Oh, well, I'll just play Super Mario Run. I mean, after all, it did come out a few days ago, and I did write up a script about it, so I guess I'd better put it to good use. And I did, and then I deleted the video, so it's useless now. And it's also obsolete. It's really no surprise that Super Mario Run is one of the most highly anticipated games of the month and already has fans of the franchise, making the download count swarms of the millions. And I don't know if it was that anticipated. And to also think this is the first time that Mario has made his debut on mobile devices, utilizing all the tapping and swiping as a game. So what exactly is Super Mario Run? Well, Bowser has kidnapped... You don't put a dash... That makes no sense, dude. Why did I do that? Kidnapped is a word on its own. You're not just putting kid next to napped or whatever. It makes no sense. The princess, once again, in true and typical video game fashion, you're the one for the job. The object of the game is simple. You swipe the screen to make Mario jump and tap and hold to make him jump higher as Mario overcomes any kind of short object like Goombas, Koopas, small ledges, and pipes automatically. You also have only a certain amount of time to beat each stage to be sure to run. There's also 5 purple coins hidden in each stage, and upon collecting all of them, will link to some cool prizes. After beating the first stage, you'll be taken to your own kingdom that you can customize. Since you'll be collecting a lot of coins during your journey, this is where you can spend them, buying up buildings, mushrooms, hills, flowers, and when you get the purple coins, or enough toads, unlock new characters. Speaking of the toads, the secondary mode of the game is Toad Rally, a game mode where you compete against other players from around the world in a toe-to-toe race to the finish line. The way this is set up is quite different from the World Tour mode, aka the main story mode, so you're racing a Ghost Mario as you compete to the finish line, but your win is purely based on how many coins you've earned and how many toads you've impressed. To impress a toad, just pull off a super cool move. That's all there's to it. Upon winning, the toads that you impressed during Toad Rally will join your kingdom. The more toads you have, the higher your level will be. The higher your level, the more toads you'll attract, and the more toads you'll attract, the farther your kingdom will expand. If you're feeling lucky, you can head on over to the bonus room every 8 hours for a chance to win several coins and possibly a Toad Rally pass, which I should probably mention is integral to playing Toad Rally. So how do you get these passes? Simple. Just beat a stage once in World Tour. That's really that simple. It's as simple as that. So overall, it's a really great mobile game. If there's one negative thing I had to say about Super Mario 1, it would have to be its costs. I hate money. Grrr. This is a very short script. I don't even know why I had to print this out. Super Mario Run is a free-to-play game, but you only have access to the first 3 levels of the game, which means you must purchase the full game to unlock all the rest of the levels, and the cost being $9.99. I think that's a good deal, because there's a lot of levels you get access to as a result of buying the game. I don't know, I hate money or something. That's still kind of true, actually. If it wasn't for this price tag, this would have been a perfect game, but I overall can't hate the game for that, and some might argue that it's an overall pretty basic, poor quality game, but it's Mario. Everybody has a great spot in their hearts for this red-clothed plumber, and I really like the way it was done. I could be playing this game for hours, and I wouldn't even be able to put the game down. I've been enjoying this game too much, and I think that's saying a lot considering the limitations of the software. What am I talking about, dude? Super Mario Run earns a 7 out of 10. The price tag ruins the game a little bit. If you're looking for an overall great mobile experience, then look no further than Super Mario Run. Now, if you excuse me, I need to erase this person and... Okay. Bad video. Let's move on. This is really funny. This is news update number 2, plus Cliff Super Mario Bros. Wii update, plus YouTube future script. Again, this video is really funny, so make sure that you're not drinking any liquids. Okay, hello everyone, Gorgon123 here, and it's been a full month since I've uploaded a video, proper or not, or in this case, a news update video. A lot has been going on for about the past 3 weeks, and it's been very stressful for me on all of those weeks. So in this video, we're going to discuss about my entire situation from the very beginning. I would like to explain that I was I was literally like murdered. I'm kidding. This will also be different from any other news update video, since this video will have 3 individual parts. This is hype as hell, including the cause of this happening, how this will affect Cliff Super Mario this week, and what I'll be doing on YouTube from then on. So let's start with part 1. So I was on my computer minding my own business, downloading SNES ROMs of games I once had for that console, which is really funny because that is really sus. Okay, because of what I'm about to explain. And the way I wrote this was so overly dramatic. I think it actually makes it worth reading. I once had for the console, and when I went over to place them into my SD card, I found out one big difference. My computer's hard drive was completely full. No joke. There's only about 3 gigabytes left of free space, and I knew my PC was in complete danger and was close to being unusable. Since I could only download things to my SD card, and even then installers would fail to perform like they should due to the lack of hard drive space, no one asked me how to fix it, because despite my attempt at installing Wonderstrat, a program used to scan your hard drive to get a better idea of how to deal with these problems, I used this program, but despite the unnecessary 50 gigs I removed from my computer, it would still fill straight back down to having 0 bytes left of free space in just under a minute. As I was spending the rest of my few days with this unusable computer, just one day later, my computer tried to automatically repair itself, and it was stuck on the screen with no way of being able to even fix it with the advanced options provided by doing some research on an iPhone. Ew, why did I type it like that? Did I just hate Apple for no reason? I found out that my computer was stuck on a so-called automatic repair loop. Very original? What am I talking about? I tried multiple strats to fix the issue myself. Multiple strats. Speedrunner strats. Alright? The ones you'll find on speedrunner.com. I can't believe I said strats. I'm literally just pulling words out of the asshole of the source.com. Until my computer was then stuck on a screen where I must boot my PC up through a boot DVD-ROM, which costs a lot of money, especially for Windows 8.1. And with my parents being aware of this happening, the end result was them taking the thing to a computer shop to get it fixed. During that period, I went 2 weeks without a proper computer and no way of actually making videos. Very stressed out. I didn't really have much to do during this summer and felt like I was wasting my summer days because of this catastrophe. After those days were gone, except for the fact that I noticed one big difference, it's now been upgraded to Windows 10, which changes a lot on my computer, mainly making it easier to navigate to certain programs, and above all, it's now easier to use, except for the fact that all of the programs I've installed on it are gone. I'm already in the process of restoring my computer back to its former glory, except for the fact that my video editing software is not registered anymore. It's now a trial version in its removal. I'll try to work my way around this and figure out a plan and path to choose. Again, I wrote this so dramatically, it is crazy to think about. Now that we're on part 2 of this video, I'm not going to discuss about Cliff Super Mario this Wii. The hack has been in peril because of my computer being at risk, but the newest files has been recovered, thankfully. There will be a few tweaks and fixes, as well as a new level 6-1 once I get Reggie next back up and running, since the first level in this game just crashes the game on real hardware, and Reggie doesn't work on Windows 10 until I install everything for it. Until then, there's just one last thing that needs to be done, and then it just leaves a whole lot of work that must be done with YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, I'll be doing things quite different on here than I normally would. You see, I love playing video games, and I decided to play most of the games that I have, as well as review certain games on YouTube that I hope you'll like. I'll also be working on a bunch of videos for when Cliff Super Mario's Wii releases, including its official walkthrough, the star coin locations individually for each level, a 100 ways to die in Cliff Super Mario's Wii. I honestly wish I could have gotten around to doing that. That would have been pretty funny in my personal humble opinion. As well as some other videos regarding the Hacks DLC, as well as live streams for both the game's walkthrough and its DLC, each of which will both have a separate video uploaded for them announcing the streams. Other than the fact that I'm still working on my top 10 worst NPCs in Paper Mario, which has gone downhill because of my computer, I'll pick up on its development very soon. I've also reached 33 subscribers. It may not be much, but I thank you all so much for the support you've given me over the past few months. Thank you, and that is all about this video. Be sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I never could have seen the day that I would get to a point where I'd even reach, like, 500 to 1,000 subscribers. It honestly is insane to me, but just because I feel like I might end up staggering the progress of this, I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and move on. Okay, so this is really strange. This is actually another... It's actually another take on the most annoying Paper Mario NPCs. It's the exact same list, but I just kind of rewrote it. I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's worse. I honestly don't think there's much of a point in reading this because it's pretty... Again, it's the same topic. I don't want to linger on that. How many do we have left? One. Oh, that's two. That's like... That is three, but they're all like probably the longest ones so far. They're all probably like the longest that I got here. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go pee and I will come back soon. Remember to always empty your bladder. Advice no one really needs to hear because everyone knows it already. This is one of the scripts that I honestly cherish the most out of all these deleted videos. One of the biggest regrets I've ever made, as I mentioned at the start of the video actually, these videos don't exist anymore. They're all deleted. I never privated them. I never unlisted them. They're gone. I don't have archives of them anywhere. So for me to find relics like this, honestly, it just means so much to me. And I think that these are actually all the Wii Homebrew Games videos review thingies. Now this is probably easier to understand because these are basically games that you can play after you've soft modded your Nintendo Wii. And you're basically able to play games on it and all that. So that's basically the basic premise of it. So this is episode 1, as you could probably tell. The world of video games is huge. They're there to make the world a brighter place. They've created a whole new society. They've created a whole new society to our everyday lives. Wow. Video games had the power to create an entire society? What am I talking about? There's also thousands of video game consoles out there, that some of them stand out more than others, but the console we're looking at today is the Nintendo Wii, with the idea of using a vertical shaped controller for swordplay, balancing, and other kinds of gameplay styles. However, hackers were able to study the console, and a group of dedicated fans created the Homebrew channel for whatever kinds of apps, for different kinds of apps, utilities, emulators, and for the topic of today's video, games. So here I am, here to take a look at the many homebrew games created by fans across the globe. I have the knowledge to do so. So on episode 1 on Wii Homebrew Games Review, we're going to be taking a look at many arcade games that exist for Wii Brew, so let's begin. Okay, so one thing that I should probably mention is, in my scripts today, any text that is emboldened is whatever is basically going to be recorded not through just literally commentary spoken into a microphone, but rather spoken directly to the camera. And, you know, without the microphone's mic quality for obvious reasons, so that I can differentiate and I don't have to like bring the microphone everywhere if I need to. But basically I didn't have a system here, so what I needed to do was figure out what parts of the script were this or that, if that makes any sense. There's no bold text here unless I was supposed to, like, I don't know, emphasize a certain word that I was doing. This entire paragraph is about Pong, by the way, and I think that's very funny. First up, let's take a look at a Pong clone called ASCII Pong, or Pong in console mode. If you're too young to know, Pong is a game that appeared on a very old video game console called the Magnavox Odyssey. That's not where it first started. It was the first home console that happened to have Pong, but it all started from wooden arcade machines, and that's when Pong first started, but it didn't first appear on Magnavox. A console known for such primitive graphics and for being the very first video game console ever created. You must place a plastic overlay onto your television, but only for Magnavox TVs. The console was best known for Pong, a game that's basically a video game version of something like ping pong, but allows two people to twist knobs on the console to control their paddle. It's known for being the very first multiplayer game ever created. I mean, I don't think that's much of a stretch, to be completely honest. I also think I did mention Pong, like, more as a joke in the Wandering Wolves video, and I have something at the end of this video that I want to talk to you guys about regarding the Wandering Wolves video. It's something I think you guys might think is pretty interesting. And, you know, it's referring to a video that's still watchable on my main channel, so you guys are probably going to actually want to stick around, unless you want to skip to the very end. You can do that too if you want. It's known for being the very first multiplayer game ever created. Okay, now that I've covered that history lesson, now back to ASCII Pong. The first thing I should mention is that there's a lot of Pong clones out there for Wii Brew. This is just one of the few that exist. So with ASCII Pong being programmed inside the console, there's no sound or graphics. You just control the paddle using the Wii Remote's D-pad held vertically with a slowly paced, with the Wii Remote's rumble whenever the ball goes out of bounds. If you can't already tell, the game is very slowly paced. There is, however, a function that allowed you to adjust the ball's speed to make for much faster gameplay. However, with this being in console mode, the physics are very basic. The ball will move completely horizontally when hit in the middle, which for this game is very easy to pull off because the ball spawns in the very middle, and you can just trap the ball between both paddles, and the game just plays itself. The only way you can actually make the computer mess up is by tilting your paddle to either the... Well, that's what you're supposed to do in Pong. But you must just barely tap on either button since your paddle moves really fast, and just getting a point is also really hard to do since the computer sticks to you like a magnet. Overall, this one's okay. I really want to go out of my way just to hunt this one down, but I recommend Kompong Wii, Pong 2, or that other Pong. Next up on the list is a simple arcade game called Aspirin. This is a game where you must eat as many dots as you can without touching the lines that spawn. It's a nice little title screen with multiple different options. This includes different control styles, difficulty, and sound. 3 different control styles. That's an advertising point. You can literally turn the game's sound off. That's revolutionary. No game has ever done such a thing like that. Control styles, difficulty, and sound. The 3 different control styles include D-pad, tilt, and IR. D-pad provides you with the slowest and most careful gameplay there is. Tilt gives you more of a challenge to control to ball. What? And let me tell you this, it gets too ridiculously hard. Sometimes we have too many points because the game at this point will just cause you to lose. So only choose this option if you want the challenge. Then we have IR, which gives you the quickest gameplay despite the game's simplicity. There's also quite a lot of rubbish in here. The game has clunky AI as well as poor hit detection. Lines do not spawn depending on where the player is, but instead of how many lines are actually on the board. That being said, it's possible for a line to spawn right on top of the player. I'm guessing that's what I said. Yep. As soon as they eat a dot, causing a lot of cheap deaths. The redeeming quality about this AI is the aforementioned clunky hit detection. Either that or you can only touch the very middle of a line to die. Since the outer edges of the line touch hurt you if you touch it. There's also a difficulty adjustment that adjusts how many lines you like to spawn whenever you eat a dot. Easy it spawns 2, on normal 4, hard 6. Overall, it's a pretty good arcade game. It's brought down from an exceptional recommendation due to the problems that surround it. Also, this cute picture of the little ball you control is so cute. I don't know what I was talking about. I don't remember. Next up is a game called Avoidance. This game is made and published by That Other Person, which I feel I should mention is also a publisher that made about 30 other Homebrew games. This is one of his later games made in 2010. Let's go ahead and take a look at this game. First of all, I like to mention that That Other Person basically had his own engine to each of his Homebrew games, where it contains a loading screen that looks like this. And when the home button is pressed, it opens up a menu to save screenshots and 3 different ways to exit the game. And for this specific game, high score functionality when connected to the internet, which is no longer a thing for the Nintendo Wii since they officially shut down the Nintendo WFC down, making the mechanic break the game, which I don't think that's even true. Did I try that? I don't think I even tried that, I'll be honest. Anyway, back to Avoidance. In this game, you must control the small pink dot by using the control pad, a control stick from the nunchuck, or the classic controller's control stick. Avoiding all the black dots for as long as you can. However, this game is very hard since hundreds of dots spawn in on the screen, making it very hard to stay alive long enough. But from what I can gather, the points you earn must be very important in this game due to its sheer amount of difficulty. The music is also pretty cool and catchy. Overall, Avoidance is a pretty good arcade game, and yet, despite its simplicity, it can be quite fun to see how long you can survive. Next up is a game called Baller Maze. Oddly enough, the website says that this is still in early development, even though it looks like it feels like a finished project. With all that shoved underneath the rug, let's talk about the game. The goal of the game is to tilt the Wii Remote, to tilt the 3D maze, to get the ball to the very end without falling into the holes or touching any of these things. Alright? Oh wait, I didn't say that. It said these things? I didn't realize until now, but I found that there's progression in this game to the point of actually having save data. So I'm pretty sure I must uninstall and then reinstall this game to get rid of the save data. I also noticed the creators have a sense of humor and made this level. Look at it. I mean, it's made with a funny beard. I mean, if you look into like footage, if there is footage of this game surviving out there on like Homebrew, which is where I found all these games, you'll probably know what I'm talking about, but you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, so let's move on. The music in this was also quite weird. I can Can't really describe how this sounds. Either way, Baller Maze is really well-made arcade games. It's a shame this project was never finished or heard from again. Next up, we got Bellion. It's an interesting arcade game where the goal is to control the ball with a control pad and break all the blocks. Like I said, it's really basic stuff. It's basically Breakout. You know, we've probably played some Breakout. I was obsessed with that style of game, like especially back then. But you know, it's not really. This is pretty simplistic. The game starts to mix it up, requiring you to wait a second. Control the ball with the control pad, break all the blocks. Like I said, this is really basic. That is until you have to start solving. Never mind. This is, I don't know. I'll probably talk about this at a later point, but this is not the game that I was talking about. It's actually something else entirely. It's not Breakout. Forget what I said. The game starts to mix it up, requiring you to touch certain colored blocks to change your ball's color to destroy the other colored blocks in the level. So what makes the game fun and addicting, and also is fun to play. The sound for whenever you beat a level is so hilariously unfitting. And speaking of the game's sound, I should probably mention that the background music for the game is really epic. Also, I neglected to mention the condition the game was in when I downloaded it off Homebrew. It was unusable. The creator needed to create a Bellion folder in the root of the apps folder where my Homebrew games was located on my SD card, even though the creator never instructed me as if I had any contact with any of the people that made these. And I thought I'd be stuck with a game that wouldn't work until I started using ELF to dull converter, which is what made the game work. But to prevent overcomplicating things, this is a very well-made game. I recommend downloading this game from the link in the description below, which also includes the download to all of the games used in this video. Yeah, use. I only use games for my own personal gain, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is Blister Ball Wii. A game that's very similar to a game called Buster Brothers that released in 1990 by SNES, on the SNES by Capcom. This game is as simple as shooting and destroying the balls that bounce up and down from above, but the goal was to avoid touching the balls or you'll lose. This game released in as early as 2009 by the author John Conrad, which is an epic name, by the way, and it managed to still capture the nostalgia of the game really well, as this is basically the whole game, except instead of playing as a human person, you control the weird triangle-shaped ship thing, which it doesn't sound nostalgic if you really think about it, because Buster Brothers is where you're like you're a brother and you're busting balls, which, you know, and then you downgrade it to a triangle, as I described in this reading, so. You know, it doesn't sound nostalgic to me. It sounds like a complete a shell of what it's supposed to be. It's not that deep though. Either way, that's basically the whole game. If it doesn't get much more simple than this, then I did later discover that I'm really bad at the game. Well, too bad, dummy. Up next is an obscure arcade game called Bubble Dizzy Wii, which is a port of the original Bubble Dizzy for the MS-DOS. A game that, spoiler alert, I'm also very bad at, but I can't really tell if it's just me or the game itself. I think the first thing I need to mention about this game is how bad these controls are. So I say I'm bad at the game, but then I'm just like, maybe it's the game itself, and then I'm just like, alright, it's the game itself. But it's probably me, alright? It's probably just me. You hold the Wii remote vertically, and you move with the D-pad and jump with B, which is okay, but I want to play the game like on the SNES. The game itself is not bad, and it manages to support the DOS game pretty well. With the only things I see different is the music and different arrangements. The physics are slightly different from the original, but in this version, I feel like they took out the collectibles that allow you to stay alive. The goal is simple. You jump, control a potato-shaped scuba diver as you attempt to get to the top, which is very hard due to all the above problems. Overall, if you can discover more similarities between the DOS and the Wii version, such as being able to live longer, and you can maybe try this game out if you don't want to, though. Next up on the list is we got Bugging. This game is a clone of the fly swatting minigame found in Mario Paint, or to a lesser extent Super Mario Maker. In this version of the game, we can see Classic Mode, which requires you to get through all 5 levels, killing off as many bugs as possible, and getting to fight the boss at the end. Then in Swarm Mode, you go through shorter levels, trying to survive as long as possible. So just like the original Super Nintendo or Super Mario Maker remake, the goal is to kill as many bugs as possible using the Wii Remote IR and pressing A or B to swat. The game does throw in a lot of enemies that were in the game, such as the bee that releases a swarm of tiny gnats, the bomb bug that explode when you get too close to them, and the big flies, which look like alien jellyfish that fire projectiles at you. I didn't realize until then that these hands on top of the left corner represented until I noticed that it represents how many hits you can take until you die. You can also find an extra piece of health inside of a level if you hit it I also especially like how all the sprites for the insects are original. What's weird is that after you beat the 5 intended levels, the levels just start to loop until you die, which means they sadly have taken out Watinga, a giant gnat, at the end of the game. I actually was able to beat all of the intended levels, and let me tell you, these levels are just crazy. There are literally bugs everywhere on the screen by the time you reach level 4, and the game is just so ridiculously hard near the end that it'll just be a milestone for you to even beat the game. There's also weird, unfitting music. Cool overall, bugging does not back a lot. It doesn't bring back a lot of the nostalgia. What? What am I talking about? It's actually, like, very similar to the original minigame. I think the only aspect that I'm referring to is the music, but that doesn't... It's not like that would ruin it. I mean, maybe it would sort of ruin it in the sense that it's like the Atari 60... The Atari Jaguar version of Doom, the original Doom, not having any music at all. Could be considered ruination in a way. That's not the right word, but kind of like ruining it in a way. I can sort of understand that, but it's not a big deal. All right. Next up, there is a very simple yet very popular arcade original that is Centipede. According to the name, that is a clone of Centipede, which I honestly thought was a snake clone. You pilot around a very strangely shaped spaceship and shoot at the centipede coming down the screen. The goal is that you must shoot the centipede in the head to win the level, but hitting him anywhere but the head will split in two. There are also these stupid rocks that get into your way, and some moving ones that can actually damage you, and taking at least 3 to 4 shots to destroy, which may get harder than one would think. There's also bonuses you can collect from kill a centipede, mostly points, but getting enough points can earn you an extra life. There's really nothing else that can be said about the game. There are no glitches, nor is this game prone to crashing. So I just check this out if you were a fan of the original Atari 7800 Classic. I'm pretty sure it wasn't from the Atari 7800, I'm just saying. Next is this questionable arcade game that takes the role of Pong. I did not spell the word roll correctly at all. It's roll with an E at the end, replacing the second L. And that extra L is for me, really. Take the role of Pong, but turn it upside down, called Cherry-O-Man. This is actually an anti-Pong game, where instead of having to bounce the ball to the other player or against the wall, you must avoid touching it entirely. Except that it suffers from so many problems. The game is very badly programmed that it almost randomized what could happen in terms of entering and exiting the game. So my first play, I avoiding bouncing the one and only ball that showed in the level for as long as I could until I lost. It actually took about 20 seconds to get past the game over screen, over than just the regular 3 that it would normally take. The second time I play, a second ball spawns, which is how it was supposed to be intended in this game when I survive longer. Then eventually 3. When I die and exit out of the screen, and the game instantly starts on one player without giving me a second chance to do anything else. And when I lose once again, the game freezes and returns to the Homebrew channel. Seriously, why? Why is it such a big deal? Is what I should be asking. Also, I don't understand what the point is in the high score, since you can't really get many points, and you get while playing, and there's no way to access the high scores. The game is just kind of soft locks for a few seconds. There is, however, a 2-player mode, which isn't much different from the other mode. You just connect another remote, and player 2 is controlled from the ceiling. It doesn't get any more simple than this. But the game is ruined by how badly programmed it is. With that being said, stay away from this game. This feels so needlessly aggressive. Like, you should stay away from this game at all costs. You should never play anti-Pong. It's the worst thing that's ever existed. Devilock, the game we're going to look at next, is developed and published by Misfit, and he brings us a challenging arcade game we are all to remember. In this game... I'm sorry. In this game, you pilot around a ship and you must collect these evolution capsules and plant them in a nearby garden, and then get back to the base. But it certainly is easier said than done. The physics in this game are almost too real, where you must lightly tap on the button 2, or you'll go too far and you'll start crashing into things, and getting hit 4 times means game over. Now, don't get me wrong, this game is really cool, with awesome physics feeling like zero gravity, a well-designed title screen, cool 8-bit graphics, and really cool music. There are problems that bring it down from recommendation. The game is overall very hard, which is not a problem, it's just a skill issue. Now we go far, and it'll start crashing. Wait, hold on. I can never ascend into the garden without taking damage or dying, and some things also confuse me a bit because of how hard the game is as a whole. It's hard to just sit back and enjoy the game when you're supposed to move around with the most delicate touch. The game is really good, The insane difficulty only makes it a recommendation to the hardcore audience. Next up is a simple snake clone called Elongated Reptile, another masterpiece by that other person. It's not really a masterpiece if it's literally just an arcade game that's existed for a very, very long time, and you're just porting it over to the Wii. You know what else? You know what I mean when I talk about this type of game. You control a snake, eat as much as possible without running into yourself, and hit a high score. These kinds of games certainly are addicting, and Elongated Reptile doesn't do any different. Very simple graphics, no sound, and score functionality. There's a little less to say about this game. There are no glitches, but it can be quite fun. There is a few snake clones on Weebrew, but this one certainly sells me. Next up is a strange helicopter simulator simply titled Heli, made by BHS Pitmonkey. He showed up as a game developer a few times. He brings us a very simple game where you must press the A button to go up and release it to go down. Use these to your advantage to avoid these really weirdly designed levels with quite a lot of effort put into the physics. My favorite part of this one by far is how when you crash you burn into flames. You can burn up on walls and even ceilings, which just makes everything better. A little strange to say, including when you exit out of the game, you just fly down into the abyss on fire or not. Overall, I can't say Heli is bad, but it can get pretty boring, so I'm not sure if you should try this out or not. Next up is Pong Wii. If you've seen the console Pong or anti-Pong, I'll show you a Pong that's a little bit cooler. This is a futuristic Pong game with cool music and really nice graphics. It's all in Spanish. The first problem I have with this game is how hard it is. The ball moves really fast and the paddles are hard to control. And control by using the pointer, that they move really fast, making for very fast-paced gameplay. You can even tilt the paddle from its place a little bit, allowing you to make very exclusive shots. What the hell does exclusive shots even mean? Even if you can't benefit from it all that well, the one thing that stands out to me the most of its graphics, because I really like the idea of a futuristic Pong. When it comes down to the actual gameplay, it's pretty much meant for veteran Pong players. There's a little less to say about the game. It's a really well-made Pong game, but the difficulty makes it a bit harder to recommend. As we come to an end of the first episode of Wii Homebrew Games Review Part 1, we've still got the one last game to cover. I present to you Liquid Wars. It's a clone of a game by the same name for the Wii. It's a game where you must control a swarm of your Liquid army and kill off the other army. The game is programmed in console mode. Well, that doesn't mean it could be a good... But that doesn't mean it could be a good game. What? So let's take a look at this game, and already I have no idea what's even happening. I control my army with the Wii remote pointer. I don't get anywhere doing that because nobody seems to die or anything, and there's also no time limit whether it's like... is it a non-game or a real game? Liquid Wars is a pretty bad clone of a I really just said that. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even understand how Liquid Wars works. So chances are this game is actually really good. I'm just a bumbling fool. Seriously. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like these kind of videos, I might consider making episode 2 covering more arcade Weebrew games for you guys. All the games used in this video will be linked in the description below. And then you can follow me on my very few social medias, you know, if you'd like to. Why did I capitalize you'd? Be sure to give this video a like and don't forget to turn notifications. You can also check out my last video I did on playing Gecko. Whatever, shut up. We got 2 scripts left, but they're like the longest ones. I don't remember exactly which episode this is. I could probably figure it out by reading the, Oh, and one thing I need to do real quick is I need to plug my camera in because it's going to die soon. Okay, so the camera angle has been altered slightly because I don't want the camera to die on me as I'm recording. That would not be very cool at all. Let's just resume. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be reviewing some more Wii Homebrew games because I just can't wait any longer. Let's do this! In this one, I'll be taking a look at some more Wii Homebrew arcade games because there's still a lot of those out there. Let's begin. First up, we have a game simply titled Ping. I sure wonder what that one's about. If you can't already tell from the title, it's yet another Pong clone, except this time the graphics on this one are green. There's really nothing much else to say about this one, except for the fact that this one is another game by BHS Pitmonkey, the same person that made Heli and Brickout. The cool thing about this is that you're able to connect the second player to replace the AI that's used as the challenger. That doesn't work anymore. The funny thing that occurred to me while I was playing this at one point, the ball moved at an incredible speed, most likely in a way the game didn't intend. So that about wraps up the first game, but before I move on to the next one, I want to look at the next game that's another Pong clone that's simply titled Pong. Do I even need it? No, I'm not reading that. Wait, you're telling me there's another Pong clone, 2 to be exact? Sigh, Goran's work is never done. Anyway, back to Pong 2, which is basically the name of the game we are looking at right now. Basically, the whole formula is Pong is in this very game, but in this game, you can tell that they put a lot of effort into the graphics, making them look like the style of the 1970 Odyssey consoles. There's also several settings that can be applied to the game as well, as such as music, difficulty, and whatnot. It's probably the most interesting, most challenging version of Pong there is by creating walls, making the ball go faster, and even shortening your paddle. And the first opponent to reach 10 points at the end of each stage wins. I'm not even sure how many stages exist. Well, boy, this game kept me playing. That's about it in terms of Pong clones. Next up is a game called Plop. Okay, also, I think this is episode 3. Episode 2 is coming next. I should have mentioned that these are not in chronological order. I'm pretty sure that these were not, at least in terms of how I set these up, these are probably not intended to be in chronological order. This is a fun Xmas game. This is a fun Xmas game. The creators. No, I did not. I did not intend to say the, did I? Why am I just speaking in Old English? The goal of the game is simple. There are a bunch of mini Santas wishing you Merry Christmas in their language. It's annoying, so you must shoo them away because duh, Wii Remote has the I think the actual game said that, not me. So you add Santas by pressing 2 and press A to make them go away while utilizing the pointer. Why do we want all these Santas to go away? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we'll end up on the naughty list. It's the dumbest joke ever. Shoo, get out of here. Shoo, get out of here. I've been a good boy this year. I think you're just supposed to fight them off as long as possible or trying to hit a high score. And if so, then I really appreciate this game. Definitely a game that can be used to tide over your boredom and possibly a great game to play during Christmas break. I mean, think about it. This can lead to a bunch of internet challenges. Okay, whatever. So I just want to warn you guys that if you're a big fan of point-and-click games, you might despise this game. But I can't read your minds. Here's the next game, Point and No Click. Point and No Click is a maze puzzle game where you have to guide the dot to the end of the maze using the Wii pointers and try to not hit anything. This is honestly a pretty challenging puzzle game. And yeah, that's all that needs to be said about this game. It's not bad by any means, and I don't know how many levels exist, but this is a really good game. I recommend it, but I'm not recommending this game to people who are a big fan of point and click. I hate it. I hate it so much. You have a game made by the same team that brought us Pong 2, Red Square. When you know it's from a development team like that, you know it's gotta be good. In this game, you drag a block and attempt to avoid the blue blocks that are trying to kill you, as well as avoid touching the walls. The longer you survive, the faster the blocks get, and the longer you survive, the more points you'll rack up. And if you want a real challenge, adjust the difficulty to hard and just try to chew on it. And like the previous game, music adjusts. This is a really well-made game with a fun challenge, and that can see along. It was rather August. If you remember back in episode 1, we looked at a game made by BHS Pitmonkey called Heli. Well, this game is a bit similar to that, but pretty different. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Rockstopter 2. This is a game where you fly around in a helicopter, making sure to not hit anything. The controls are simple. You just use the D-pad upright to control the helicopter and get to the end of the stage to continue. You actually have access to all the stages in the game instantly for some reason. I swear I attempted to beat the underwater stage, but just couldn't do it. You also have all these well put together graphics that actually look pretty good. And the candy theme stage just makes me want to drool. I don't know, without context, that just seems really weird. Not much left can be said about this, but it's a really interesting game, and it's not that bad. And the last game we're going to look at in this video is a Snake clone called Snakey. Just like the original Snake games, you are slithering around on a board, eating dots, getting bigger and bigger, grabbing more and more points, and making sure you don't run into the wall or into yourself. This can actually get quite tough, since some dots on the board will actually move around, and the red dots are the hardest ones to get. You'll likely blow up in points when you get a ton of these. That's pretty much the game. It's Snake, so it's a great game. Play it if you're a fan of these games. This is a fun fact through. There's actually 3 other Snake clones. Weebrew. Did I skip a page just now? There are 3 other Snake clones on Weebrew, which include Elongated Reptile, which we looked at in the first episode, Deadly Cobra Wii, which doesn't seem to work, and Snake, which no longer exists on the site. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little New Year's present to you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on a single video. All games shown here will be in the description. Be sure to show the creators some love by playing their games, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Oh yeah, so I actually did individual Let's Play videos where I played these games in their own videos. Of course, these don't exist anymore. All that's really left is, like, if you go to More Gorgon 2 3, which is where you're, again, probably watching this video, I would hope, there is a couple videos that's basically gaming compilations, and 1 and 2, most likely 1, actually does have clips from those now deleted videos where I actually played those Wii Homebrew games. So if you're interested in checking that out, of course, you can actually see what some of these games look like. Just figured I would put that out there. Okay, what else is there? Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment about a Wii Homebrew game that you have, and who knows, it might be featured in a future episode. I don't need help from the community because all that I need is already listed there. Okay, so this right here is the last script that I have here. Like I said, we're not actually done quite yet. There's something that I would like to show you guys, even though I'm getting a little tired, but whatever. Hello again, and welcome back to Wii Homebrew Games Review. On our last episode, we took a look at 15 arcade games for review, but on this episode, we will continue the series by looking at 8 more, which includes games that we missed. If you see a game you like and want to play it for yourself, then post all the links. All the links will be in the description down below, as well as some tutorials people have posted on the channel, which will be credited down below. So without further ado, arcade games 2, yippee! First up on the list, we have a game called Bash the Castle. The reason I didn't cover this in the first episode is because I was being an idiot and couldn't figure out the controls. But now that I have found out that this is an Angry Birds-esque arcade toppler is when I found out that you're supposed to play this game. Use the pointer to choose your weapon, and press A to ready your shot, and A again to release. The goal here is to basically kill everyone inside the castle in a limited amount of shots to win. Quite simple, quite satisfying. There's 3 types of weapons, which include a bomb thing that I can't figure out, 1 singular boulder, and 3 smaller boulders, all of which are necessary to topple down these castles in your way. I don't know about you guys, but in what I've heard in this game, you roleplay as the bad guys, but I'd like to think that we're all as a team working together to fight evil, and we're working for the good. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comment section. That's when you know you've truly fallen down to the dark side, I guess. Probably the coolest thing about this game by far is level editor that lets you create your own castle to wreck. I don't know about you guys, but what kind of idiot would spend months or even years building an entire castle just to destroy it for fun in the end? Kind of weird if you ask me. Fire at will, insert more classy dialogue. The kingdom I have here is pretty good. You have the king and queen here, this dude protecting the storage room right here, and these 2 dudes, don't mind them, they run the bar where they are perfectly vulnerable for assault by the trebuchet. My kingdom sucks! But that's not the only thing that sucks. Even trying to move the freaking pieces to where you want it to be is hard enough because you have to be as precise as you can possibly be, and I'm not good at that. I forgot precision. This is hard. This is just difficult. In the end, though, Bash the Castle is not a bad start if you're just starting with Angry Birds, and therefore is a very game in general. Yes, this is a very game if you think about it. So do you like Bomberman? Do you like hacking? Well, have the perfect game that suits both of those categories and is a good one. Blast Guide for the Nintendo Wii. Here we go. Oh wait, it's for multiplayer only. Something I must mention about this is due to most of the games of this time not giving any modern software compatibility, and since I have a version 4.3 Wii with this model, for some odd reason only the black Wii remote has the capability of working on third-party homebrew software. So what do you do? What do you do to play Blast Guy? Play by yourself. I could be able to purchase another black Wii remote for the purpose of these third-party games, so I don't want to go that far. Actually, I don't even think that would work, because I think the reason that it even worked in the first place was because it was the Wii remote that actually came with the console itself. But if I want to actually, now that I know what causes them to shut off in the first place, it's getting Wii remotes that don't have Motion Plus built inside, or just ones that don't have the Wii Motion Plus dongle attached to them. Detach that, try again, see if that works. If you have Wii remotes that are just Motion Plus inside, chances are it's not going to work. This is a really well-made multiplayer Bomberman clone, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Since I can't play the game with 2 people, I instead have to just play alone. But I would have really liked the game for its multiplayer instead. The creator should have put a 1-player option and one that actually had programmed enemies like the traditional Bomberman games. That's really all that needs to be said, but now it's time to look at another arcade game called Breakout. As you can probably gather from the title, this is a clone of a game Breakout from versions like the Atari 2600. This is what I was actually trying to correct myself on earlier, so sorry about that. Now you can apply what I said about Breakout to what I'm talking about now. The game is made by BHS Pitmonkey, which is the person who made the game Heli, which we looked at in a previous episode. There really isn't much to say about this one because it's so self-explanatory. It's Breakout! Do you expect anything about this game through how the paddle moves around? It just bounces like a rubber ball whenever it hits one of the borders, and does make for some more intense gameplay. But you have infinite lives, and you're just constantly crushing the same blocks over and over. Even when you beat the first stage, it just constantly repeats until the game shuts off. There actually is a better Breakout clone for the Wii. There's called Weeks Ball, which has better graphics, multiple levels, motion controls, and rumbles, but I'll talk about that in a future episode. I don't think I ever have, actually. I think, but I don't think I have the physical scripts anymore. I feel like I'm actually missing a lot of these, but these are the only ones I could find. If I happen, for some reason, to find more of these, I might actually make a follow-up video to this, which, you know, is probably scary considering this video is already well over 2 hours in length. For now, let's talk about another game that is a port of another popular arcade game that goes by the name of Mad Bomber. This essentially is a clone of Kaboom. The object of the game is to defuse every single bomb that is dropped by this guy by dunking them into the water. I'm not really sure why anyone, even a criminal, would want to do such a psychic thing like that. And plus, how many freaking bombs does this guy have? Holy crap! Well, I mean, this video game logic's not really supposed to make sense. One day, while I was in the process of checking this game out for the first time, I hit the wrong button and actually clicked on the 2-player mode, which is actually pretty smart. Finally, Rebrew game where I can actually play with a friend. That is, if I even had one. And I just assumed in this mode that you had a second pair of lives with you. The best thing about this is that you basically throw the Wii remote to the other person playing with you so that you can take turns when you lose life. So yeah, that's Mad Bomber. It really doesn't hurt to mention that the overall presentation is really good looking and looks like the graphics from the Super Nintendo. I mean, that is a I mean that is a compliment. Okay, let's go on, move on with the next game. Oh wait, there's a lot of. Look at how many enters there are in this script. In this page specifically. How about this one simply called Mole? Yep. It sure looks like a mole, doesn't it? Okay, so this game is so funny for some reason because the graphics are actually MS Paint. I talk about this in a bit. Not the mole I saw in the last video. Oh no. So I was referring to the fact that there's literally a misspelling. There's a misspelling. It's like, you loose. They're trashing your garden. And I thought that was really funny. As you can probably tell from the title, in case you didn't, there's a whack-a-mole game, or as it's specified in the title, a garden protection simulator. And by that he means taking a big wooden mallet and beating the living crap out of wildlife. Garden protection simulator! It's the big boss! Garden protection what was I talking about? Okay, well, it's not as exciting as you might think because you do nothing but tilt the control stick in the direction of the mole, and you swing the Wii remote to hit the mole, and then you do it. It makes this sound. What kind of punch sound is that? You lose. He's now trashing it. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. First of all, that's amazing. Second of all, he misspelled the word lose. And third, these graphics really make me want to vomit. I mean, the valid argument would be that you can still make really good art in Microsoft Paint, but I feel like he didn't even try. I mean, does this look like this? I don't know what I was trying to do, but like, pretend it's an actual video. I'm just reading this. Let's just move on. We still have a few games to cover in this video. Next up is Paranoid. This is some really interesting arcade game with really neat graphics. This is a game you control ship, shoot some stuff, and there's some strategy involved, although I couldn't really figure it out for myself when I played it for the first time. This game keeps showing me information, making me think I broke it whenever I press the one button. So you're in this room, flying around the ship, and I guess you're supposed to get the right side of the screen and enter what appears to be a capsule, and then you're in some kind of area with Atari-like graphics, and this is when I gave up on trying to figure out what I'm trying to do, and consulted the internet. It turns out I was just doing it wrong, but instead, I think I'll link the original video in the description below, where you can click the annotation above my head to check the video out. No, not the mention of annotations again. It's all too sad. Now I'm not going to say anything about this game because it's actually a port of a pre-existing game for MS-DOS with the same name, so I can't say anything bad about it, even if a lot of homebrew browser users think otherwise. Huh? Okay, you know what's funny? I literally talked about Bubble Dizzy. I didn't hold back. I said that was an MS-DOS game, but I talked about it. What's your excuse, Goran guy? Let's just keep going. There's actually 2 more games left to cover. How about this one titled Particle Accelerator? Remember Avoidance from our last video? Well, this game is something reminiscent of that, but has black And I think you're a spaceship and you're dodging millions of asteroids that are impossible to avoid. That's what the game is. Okay, let me slow down here a bit. You control your ship with a control pad as you avoid these regular, singular pixels, except it's really hard to avoid them when they move so fast. It's also just straight up confusing from time to time. I mean, like, look at this. You can tell that I clearly hit that rock, but I'm still alive. It turns out you have to hit a boulder directly in order to actually die. I thought it was some sort of health system that you take multiple hits before death, but then there were times where the first time I actually touched one of those rocks, I died instantly. There isn't much to say about it, but I think it's about time we move on to the last game. This one is called Pie Chart. It's a clone of the arcade classic Pac-Man, or as its creator refers to it, a shameless ripoff. You know what? I need to go take a nap. What was the point of me saying that? I don't get it. Jumps in the sheet and covers himself up with sheets. Back to the game. Just like the original Pac-Man, there wasn't. What was even the punchline supposed to be? Like, I know there is a punchline, but I don't understand what I was trying to say there. Just like the original Pac-Man, the objective is to eat all the pellets, as well as the power pellets that make the ghosts that are chasing you vulnerable to be eaten by you. There's no point in me reading this if I'm just basically explaining the original Pac-Man, but there is. On the seventh level, you're on a gray-colored board with a giant red ghost that attempts to home in on you. In this level, it's just him and you. When you get a power pellet, he turns blue like the other guys. But when you try to eat him, he teleports to a different location on the map, adding the difficulty of this level. Basically, on this level, you need all the lives you can get on this level. To get more lives, you need to get a bunch of points to get one life. And whatever you do, do not die, because they'll have less of a chance of beating him. After several attempts at trying this, I was finally able to beat him, and I'm very proud of it. Overall, any fan of Pac-Man would like this remake. You should definitely try this game out if you're so inclined. That's the end of episode 2 of We Homebrew Games. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I will be making part 3 in the future, hopefully a little sooner than the last. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. And this is the outro on the last page. Anything new that I say here? Yeah, no. Why do I feel like I think I actually copied and pasted from this part of the script to the last script. I actually want to see that right now. So that is actually all of the physical scripts that I happen to have. But there's one more thing that I'm going to be showing you guys, as I mentioned earlier, of course. So this right here is, I actually called it the Goran Gamer Show for some reason. I don't really remember why, but this was the original draft for the Wandering Willows review. As you guys know, also my voice is pretty much dead right now, so I apologize for that. But basically, this was the original draft. I wrote this in March of 2019. And of course, I rewrote it because I didn't like it. And this is basically what the video could have ended up like. So I'm going to, of course, read it to you guys. For most people, you were likely a child in the 90s who grew up with a Super Nintendo or perhaps an N64 console. You just really freaking love video games like myself, unless you had a Sega Genesis, in which in that case you're giving support to a dying video game company with no ounce of inspiration left towards making a good game, or maybe some of you were birthed into a generation or growing up with really sexy modern gaming consoles like Xbox or PlayStation. I really hate that I take such a whack at Sega. It just, I like Sonic. I don't hate it. For some reason, I had some kind of hate boner with Sega for basically no reason. I just think it's funny that I was like, you're a dying video game company. They recently released Sonic Frontiers, and the game is doing really well for them. So I don't think that that's accurate information now. And I just think, I don't know, I think it's funny that I just literally shat on Sega for, again, basically no reason. Perhaps some of you grew up with PC games. Well, it's time for me to go ahead and talk about what games I grew up with. And as you can tell, I emboldened these for, again, obvious reasons. I needed to make sure what I would say into here versus here. So, there you have it. Well, my dad in 2005 did buy a Super Nintendo and bought A Link to the Past, Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, Super Mario World, and even The Jungle Book. I was 3 years old and frankly didn't remember anything back then. So yeah, I grew up with PC games. Not those PC games, these PC games. I truly don't reckon anyone even knows what these things even are. I didn't even actually get a gaming console that wasn't just thrown into the depths of my barn, yes, a literal barn, until 2012 when I got a Nintendo Wii that came with New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I freaking love that game, by the way. And of course, I ended up having a blast. Anyway, computer games. Not your typical Mario Flash games you've grown to love, but instead, this. I mean, I thought it was fun for a while. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought $200 worth of said games. Probably the biggest source for games for me back then was a website called Big Fish Games. Also, I don't think that was $200. There's no way. Back then, it was a pool of fun, interesting, charming, and addicting video game masterpieces. But now I look at it and see it as a Steam for grandmas. A new game. Did I? Oh man, that joke is actually kind of decent. I don't actually remember if I made a joke like that in the actual like final cut of the video. Ah man, Steam for grandmas is kind of good. A new game every day, huh? I'm actually dead serious when I say that the phrase needs to be changed to a new hidden object game every day. Seriously, every time they post a new game, it's the same genre every time. If you get lucky, you might get like, I don't know, a match 3 game, a word game, something other than something a grandma using this site would buy and would have to use freaking opera glasses to play. The fact that there's barely any variety is ridiculous, but as for the other existing genres, they're still there. The ones I found myself the most obsessed over were the Marble Popping series, Luxor, Tumblebug, Sky Kingdom, series you don't really know anything about most likely. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about big fish games. No shooters, no platformers, no nothing. Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. There's a few of those on there. It's just kind of scarce. There wasn't any games in this dark time in my life where I was stuck with a terrible Windows Vista laptop. I was actually so happy back then, I won't lie. Windows Vista laptop that would blue screen if I tried playing Diner Dash. But today in this video, we will be talking about Wandering Willows, an RPG game made for the PC by company PlayFirst in 2009. This was the very first RPG type game I've ever played, and I remember years ago playing the total mess out of that game. I think I got to a point where my laptop overheated and exploded. Just kidding, that didn't actually happen. Okay, real quick before I say anything, I just want to mention that I recently discovered that this game has its own Steam page and the game is selling for 15 bucks. I got mine digitally for $7 on Amazon. How dare they try to sell it for that much? And many hats, glasses. Oh, I don't understand what the bit was there. What the joke was. Oh yeah, if you don't know, Amazon does sell digital games on their website. Some of the games ordered offered a 30-minute free trial, so you can decide if buying the game will be worth it or not. Anyway, it's time for me to shut up and actually start playing the game. Alright, time to name my character. Make my character as stupid as possible. Done. The game opens up with you or your character flying in a hot air balloon during a lightning storm. Okay, let me just see something real quick. Yeah, I thought so. He's probably gonna die. Until Seagull breaks right through the hot air balloon like a madman, or in this case, a mad bird. You go careening towards some random island where there's donkeys you can't even ride. But think about it. Out of all things that could take you down in the sky in your hot air balloon during a lightning storm, did you honestly expect a friggin' seagull to be the cause of your demise? The answer is no, unless you were one of the few who played this game. It's later revealed that you were actually alive. The donkey thing following me all over Tarnation, Hell, and back, and even to Heaven and back, is called a Torzil, and your balloon has suffered major damage. Well, you can't have an opening to a game like that and then die, because there'd be no game now, would there? You end up in a small village with 5 faces that I hope you get used to seeing, because you'll be seeing them a lot. When you speak to Debbie Katz for the first time, she reveals that everyone, yes everyone, ended up here because they all crash landed in similar fashion to me. Apparently I'm the only one who actually wants to leave this place. The real question is, why has nobody wanted to leave since? I mean, how can they sustain life when they need animals to go climb up trees, dig up onions, and die in yeast, and yet they all just stand there and walk only occasionally? Throughout this game, you literally spoon feed everyone. I mean, they have no disabilities or broken legs. They should be perfectly capable of doing things for themselves. Yet, nope, they enslave you until you decide to let you go home. Of course, right off the bat, you kind of already know exactly what you're headed for. A collectathon. Yeah, this entire game's concept is when you collect a million worthless things and use them for the NPCs throughout the hub. This was always a pet peeve to me in video games, but if they are done well, if they're well-done video game collectathons, they can be a lot of fun. Games like Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario Odyssey, and even Super Mario 64 fall into the category, but they're actually fun. Super Mario 64 is a collectathon because you're actually trying to find multiple stars to have a bunch of incredible levels. Each star is usually very well hidden, and not just a linear point A to point B experience. You have to actually use your wits and your knowledge to find some stars, and I recently bought the game on Wii U. This is not true, by the way. I never bought Super Mario 64 on Wii U Virtual Console. I was supposed to buy it around the time that I was going to record for this video, but then again, I redid the script, and I didn't mention Mario 64 in that video at all. So I just think it's kind of funny. Where else? And the game is amazing, I can tell you that. You should go play it. Of course, there are bad examples of collectathons, like how in Kingdom Hearts 3 in the Pirates of the Caribbean world, you must collect 300 crabs, and in the older stages of Bendy and the Ink Machine's 3rd chapter, how most of it was a fetch quest. But of course, Wandering Willows, it's almost lazy game design to make this the premise. It doesn't keep people coming back for more, it bores people, and maybe it would be fun if the collecting part was fun, but they didn't even manage to pull that off correctly. I'm getting way too ahead of myself here because I haven't even explained what some of the main game mechanics are. You see the donkey next to you? He's your slave animal. Get it? Because you have to have him dig up tons of worthless junk and climb up trees over and over again. But just when you thought this useless junk didn't have any use, well, they do have a use. Once you finish up with a quick chat with Debbie, she will then ask you to talk to Art Gunderson, the guy with the afro, and kind of looks like Bob Ross, huh? That's not true. I pulled a sneaky on you. Hey, yeah, I think the only reason I said that he looked like Bob Ross was literally because he had an afro. She will then ask you to talk to Art. Okay. Yay, I got 10 coin things from just engaging with a stranger. Guys, it's a really good way to make money. Just go up to a range of people and they'll give you money. Go around. Ugh. What the hell, bro? Art will instruct you how to grow some wheat in the garden next to him because apparently I have the magic touch and I happen to be capable of making things grow. I don't understand his logic, but either way, let's plant a wheat. Done. I got it. Once you give the wheat to Art, he then teaches you how feeding your pet works in this game. But I mean, I think it'd be pretty important if you could just feed yourself in this game, right? No, I'm serious. I mean, everyone else gets to eat, but what about me? I do all these nice things for everyone else, and I get no appreciation. I'm just here, dying of starvation, screaming and baying from the hole that has become my stomach from lack of food. I deserve respect. Let me break it down for you. Whenever your pet's energy meter, the green bar underneath your pet at all times goes down too much, it means that it will suck at everything. So you gotta feed him regularly and make sure he doesn't suffer from heat stroke and die. Hold on one second. Oh, it's my bad. I meant to say that. Your pet will suck if you don't feed it anything. Between him climbing trees, literally pick up physical maple syrup and digging up twigs. Hold on. I'll remind you in this game, you can literally pick up drops of maple syrup from the ground. Imagine if I spilled my drink and instead of using a mop, I could pick it up with my pure hands. Ah, oh, man, I spilled my drink. Well, you get what I'm trying to do here, right? That tastes like I just threw my grandma's wing into a pot of boiling water and I used vinegar to flavor it. It's not bad. Like, I honestly feel like that this script actually was competent to a certain degree. But I guess I just didn't like it all that much. I don't know. Okay, in case you were wondering, you can thankfully level up his abilities such as his climbing and digging skills by continuously climbing up trees and digging up lumps. At some point, he'll be faster at doing these things, and he'll be able to tackle jumps and trees much stronger than your pet when you first start the game. And you learn that Debbie wants to make him raspberry tarts for some stupid reason, but you also learn that each pet has its own likes and dislikes. For instance, you can give a Torzil anything sour. You can't give a Torzil anything sour, you know, lemons, limes, you get the gist. It'll just reject its own hard work. It does like berries, bananas, and oranges, however, and when that is given to your animal... Wait, why did I say oranges? It just said that it doesn't like anything citrus. It will restore more of its energy than usual. Another thing you can do is cook stuff that is quite... Yeah, no, I don't know why orange is a citrus. Oh, wait, it's not sour. It's never mind. It's just sour, and oranges are not sour. Okay, it will restore more of its energy. Another thing you can do is cook stuff. This is quite important to the game, as you will sadly also be doing this a lot. I figured that I should mention that I grinded for 20 minutes straight, getting as many worthless things as I could find, just hoping that it would sell for something at the shops. Also, Debbie literally just made fun of my fashion sense. Screw you, Debbie! I'll show you who's more fashionable. Wait for it, and there. Do I look sexy? And if you already couldn't gather, the most useless in-game mechanic is being able to wear clothes you made. Oh man, talking the Silas Applebeef though. I mean, it's not really that useless. It's just, it's character customization, you know? I don't really think it's useless. I don't agree with that sentiment. Oh man, talking to Silas Applebeef for the first time didn't give me money. Oh man. Also, I feel like it's worth mentioning this game is like 9 years old, right? Well, selling anything in the store causes the entire game to freeze up all the time. What's up with that? Don't make me do this, game. Don't make me do this. Eventually, Silas will tell you to dig up a bunch of twigs to repair one part of your balloon with out of Okay. I'm questioning the logic of whether or not twigs would actually fix the basket of a balloon, but whatever. I did it. Now do my bidding. A really epic cutscene plays as you see that part of your balloon getting fixed. Woo! Let's party, boys! Whoopee! Oh yeah, in case you didn't know, you still have like shit. You have like 8 other goals of story progress left to complete, so get a move on. Nest Stylist wants you to make onion skin paper. Why not actual paper from trees, or would that not be very environmentally friendly? I don't care about nature. Growing cotton time lapse. I also want to quickly mention that this guy keeps calling me a kid, but I look like an 80-year-old. That wasn't funny. Okay, that's probably the reason I rewrote this. I just figured out that was worth mentioning. I look like a total freak, and yet here I am helping out all these people with their daily lives. It's freaking weird, man. And you have to make a hat. Just don't ask questions. Time for another in-game mechanic. Wild animals are spawning in the overworld. You can charm them so they can give you some interesting stuff. You know, they'll probably poop wool, flour seeds, eggs, gems, recipes, and patterns, metal pieces. You know, it's like when these guys are giving birth, but instead of bearing a child, they bear worthless objects, unless it's eggs or their own species. Remember when I mentioned earlier in this video about the other animals? Well, if you happen to charm an animal and it drops an egg of its kind, you get to incubate it in the animal pen so it's yours to enslave. Of course, you do need money to buy extra nests, and since there are at least a couple dozen critters to obtain, you'll be doing this a lot. Each pet also has its own unique ability. My favorite is the JoJo. Why? Because things in the shop sell for double what they are worth. I don't know about you guys, but money is the most important thing in this game. Who cares about friendship or kindness? Money is where it's really at. Many years back when I played this game on a really awful Windows Vista laptop, I remember getting tons of items only to sell them all. It's actually an in-game achievement given you can get given if you can get I wrote that weird. There's actually an in-game achievement given you can get if you manage to make 100,000 Willoughbys at a time. Of course, I did reach that amount, and I got the achievement, but I kept selling things. Eventually, I reached around about 230,000 Willoughbys. I even sold the clothing that was on my body. I had reached a point where I maxed out my backpack, watering can speed, and farmland, and I kind of freaking liked that. I was, of course, also able to buy up all the available recipes and patterns as well, so that's kind of cool. It's also a good idea to not get rid of your torso because you'll need it to easily charm animals to get more eggs. Since with any other creature, it's pretty hard. Okay, now meet Jeremy freaking Jack. I don't really like this character. He's dumb and he's annoying. But like, the other four, you must get used to seeing their faces all the time. He will literally say that you snuck up on him even if you were standing right in front of him for like 2 hours. Let me skip a more exciting part of the story because I don't want to have to stay here for like 50 minutes talking about each individual task. You'll notice some termites devouring the nearby fence in the village, and Art will ask you to go make a trap out of it. Made up of some twigs, milk, and honey. Done. And then the termites go into a glass bottle. He'll tell you to just toss the insects into the river, but once you have a nice chat with Jeremy Jack, he'll tell you to release them towards the second balloon piece, blocking the path in the new area. At this point in the video, I have decided that I shall show you a compilation of games, many cutscenes without context. I also have a strong urge to just criticize these NPCs for being lazy all the time and tell them to do stuff instead of me. But now that I mentioned that, there really isn't much left to review now, is there? Also, the northern part of the island also has cherry trees, but who cares? The new area you visit is open towards you being able to collect apricots, apples, pears, copper, mushrooms, and be able to charm turleys and oingos. These things. And you meet up with a new character, Molly Messenger, who will ask you to dig up some mushrooms. Done. All I have to do is not talk to her. And then 15 minutes after grinding and just talk some more. She explains that there's apparently some sort of sea monster lurking the island, and she needs to make a transmitter to get it to appear, and she needs your help. She needs to build copper, and I already had copper, so I just needed to speak with her. Just imagine you talk with someone, you already know what they want before you ask for it. That's a sketch that's literally just that. It's not really funny. Of course, as expected, the sea monster appears, also cut off tail. Really squashed texture. That's not important whatsoever, but can we talk about... Also, can we talk about charming in this game? Because it makes little to no sense. Have you ever seen this thing and this thing in love with each other? Let alone the fact that it's unclear what gender each animal you charm is. Are y'all genderless or homosexual? Why do you charm? Why do you charmed animals even give you most of what they have? Oh man, I'm so dehydrated. Why do you charm? Okay. If you charmed all those animals, does that mean that they will all pursue you until the bitter end? And lastly, does this sound sexy to you? Torsil mate call. The next task to telling Jeremy Jack, hey, do school, you frick. And he goes on to say that school's for chumps. Alright, let me bring up 20 articles on why school is so important. Tell her to bring it. I ain't afraid of her, the ruler. Oh, looks like this game predicted Baldi's business and education and learn. What relation does that have to anything? That Jeremy wants oatmeal for his volcano project. Once you bring it to him, he gives you the project to deliver it to Molly. Man, this kid is so brave that he's asking a complete stranger to walk a few feet in one direction to give your teacher an oatmeal volcano. It only gets a D+. Or you could just sell it to the shop and get one Willoughby if your JoJo Siwa is out. Also, furries. Let's keep playing, okay? Soon enough, you'll be able to gain access to a new area, but you first new piece of quartz and 6 pieces of copper. Why should you care? Because being the incompetent human I always am, I sold out most of my resources for money. It was totally worth it. I got it back. Now let me through that force field thing from earlier, please. Thanks. Woo, effects! And now Jeremy considers me a friend now, and I don't feel the same way because he's really annoying and unlikable. You'll also probably figure out by now that the gems have the use of making them into pet charms or bracelets, as you'd imagine. I don't usually use these. I just sell them because money is good. I can't pick it up. I can't pick it up. Who wants to play Wizards and Dragons? Shut up, Jeremy. Also, how actually hard would it be to just swim across the tiny river? I mean, it's almost like I don't need to help anyone. The new location comes with, wait, am I too far? No, I'm not actually. The new location comes with this new species of non-animal. It's literally a freaking robot that lays eggs. I'm pretty tempted to continue to question this game's logic, but I probably need to spare you guys this time. Also, you can now find stuff like cinnamon, nutmeg, chives, wood, and other crap I don't care about. Thanks, Jojo Siwa, for digging up a whole lot of mushrooms. It was cool! Also, can we talk about the fact that this robot pooped wool? I don't care that this thing is named. Okay, new character, Professor Meeple. Who is he? He's a scientist. What does he do as a scientist? Okay, well, I don't care if this is spoilers, but he can eventually give you access to teleport. Sounds cool, right? Well, it's not once you find out that you need to get him stuff like everyone else. Of course. Good day, enter. Good day, enter your name. Did you bring the opal? Well, yes, of course. Why else are you speaking to you? So his main project is creating a time machine. Sounds cool until you realize that it really sucks and he only teleported himself a minute into the future. Limitations, huh? Yeah, I'll accept that, I suppose. Also, as a side mission, you have to basically set up an entire pointless, stupid buffet celebrating seemingly nothing. And what I mean by you setting up everything, I mean, you need to go gather everything for everyone. I literally do not see the point in this at all. Even if it's for fun, why order me to do it? I mean, I have better things to do, right? Sheesh! Jeremy then tells you and he's working on fireworks, and of course he wants you to get a few things for him, but who cares? About that, we found some weird thingy-doodles so we can finally teleport, right? Correct. We now need to make him a broom so we can dust off this crazy invention. Okay, fair, let go. As long as this was all worth it. To teleport to the center of the grassland, you click the icon below the mini-map, and one battery will be used to take you there. Dang, I'd expect teleportation to take about 5 C batteries or something extremely powerful, but nope. I wonder if I could take myself to South America with just a battery. Hey, where's... I want to go back. What the hell was this entire bit? This is... I am so glad that this was not the final cut of the video. It's actually... What, dude, seriously, what was all of this? Goes to South America, me chased by Sake, God appears. Oh my God, is that you, God? Dude, that's... I don't even know what to think. I honestly don't know what to think. Meeple just wanted to uncover dinosaur bones. Well, actually, I think if I just read the dialogue correctly, I probably would know that. But I mean, the story is so boring. Can you blame me? The dinosaur is revealed to be a Willows. Does the name matter? Origins, tie in with the story? Nope, it just exists. Deal with it. Meeple now needs you to grab some Willows teeth. Why? Well, because he says that you can use them as stakes for your balloons. So basically, we get more actual progress done. Later, we talk to Jeremy Jack, and he shoots fireworks that destroy the stupid fight nobody cares about, and the rocks blocking the paths access the next and final accessible area in the grassland. Yay, oranges and oil, just what I need. You also meet the two daughters of Molly Messenger. Be an Evie Messenger. You're getting good at doing things for others. I need my dry cleaning, my electricals, my 3DS repair, my McDonald's chicken nugget with a pair. This bit technically did reappear, it's just less dumb. And it was also funnier because I punched Jeremy Jack all the way over there, and it actually made sense because it led up to specifically Jeremy Jack in that scene. So, of course, whenever you meet anyone new in this game, they of course enslave you and tell you to do literally everything for them. I already happen to have the resources for some of their tasks, since I tend to get a little grindy whenever I access these new areas. No, don't worry, it's fun. It's not fun. So let me tell you, Art Gunnarsson. Alright, let me tell you. Art Gunnarsson, you know, the one we barely talk about in this video, wants you to bring him 3 types of soft foods because his dentures broke. It's quite a lot of grinding, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's not like I've been doing this for, like, the entire game. Can I, please say something? Can I please play something else, please? Ooh. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. My camera's storage went out. Just having a bunch of problems with this insanely lengthy video. Let's just resume. Basically, Art wants 2 types of soup and applesauce. Looks like whipped cream, apparently. Lazy game developers. Here, you might as well sit in the lazy chair, friend. Here, take some random drink I found and some tortilla chips. I would give you Mountain Dew and Doritos, a popular MLG-related snack. Well, frankly, this is all I have. Either you eat that right up, or I'm putting this thing right through your neck. I mean, I have no other choices here, man. I was talking about a knife, of course. Hey, look, Jeremy Jack is now a wizard, and he is now the most out-of-place character in the entire Nana village because everybody wants to chat with a stupid, unlikable idiot like you. Speaking of that annoying kid, it brings up the topic of the ruins of an airplane farther... Oh, that was him that did that, I think. Farther south of the grassland, it turns out that it is how Debbie Katz and Heather Weatherby ended up here. Sheesh, I don't imagine anyone's actually alive in a wreck like that. And now Jeremy asks you for some sulfur, charcoal, and potassium. I did research on this, but I don't want the game to actually prove to me that I'm an idiot and not a science wizard, so I'm just gonna say nothing else as I walk off frame. Upon speaking with Molly once again, she will ask you to bring her daughter's breakfast, consisting of 2 pancakes, 1 drop of maple syrup, a honeycomb, and 2 glasses of orange juice. Guys, I really don't know how much more of this I can take. And can you believe that we aren't even halfway through the game's entirety? I teleported to save myself 40 seconds of walking. You know what, Gorn Guy 123, perhaps it is you who is lazy. Once you find all the sulfur, potassium, nitrate, and charcoal and give it to Jeremy Jack, he'll relaunch his remaining he relaunches his remaining firework and it lands directly onto the shipwreck's cockpit. So basically, if somebody happened to be alive and they're dead now, congratulations. Now, thanks to your abysmal aim, you've probably just killed whoever happened to... Oh. Well, I just said the joke twice, didn't I? Unless I found this cheeky, brainless robot. That's it. Also, there's something else I should mention that, due to me not really paying much attention to the story, Professor Meeple wants me to gather eggshells from animals. My question is, why can't you just get a regular animal egg, like the one I didn't want here, and just step on it? Or what about going to the store, throwing the normal eggs and getting those? Why do you need something so specific? Okay, I didn't bring attention to the fact that these are animals that can lay regular eggs. I think it's concerning that they lay just the shells, alright? And that's what I would basically mention in the final cut of this video, which I should have done, you know? Once you give enough oil to be messenger, then you'll finally gain access to the tropics. At this point, I've played the game for a total of 3 hours, and I want to say all the things I did not like about the game so far. None of the characters are engaging, and neither is the story. The gameplay is repetitive and uninteresting. The graphics are outdated even for a 2009 computer game, and wow, I honestly expected myself to say more about the game than this. But anyway, let's just continue to move on so I can save this energy for the end of the video. Mom always thinks we're hungry. She doesn't realize that we can take care of ourselves. I mean, we're 16, for God's sakes. Even though there are oranges and other stuff, you can also just climb over these rocks, blocking the path to the rest of the island. You know, if you're still alive after all of this, there's no way you were just trapped here all this time. And they could just climb over all the debris, otherwise they'd be dead. Why can't I do the same? It's pathetic, you get me? Okay, well, let's go to the freaking tropics. Finally, something slightly different. I'm still going slightly insane. But what's cool is not only does everything here sell for more, but you can obviously tell it's an entirely new location filled with brand new creatures, new boring characters, and yeah, the game at this point does expect you to have hopefully grinded enough to be able to gather what's needed for tasks outside and inside the tropics. With that being said, it's at least fresh, especially seeing how my lifelong dream of seeing some cat thing poop out diamonds has finally come true. Come on, Jojo Siwa, keep up with me. I don't care if you're hungry, just... Also, I'm literally just going to ignore the fact that all of your pets follow you to the tropics, and there just so happens to be a pet stable made specifically for use by you only. No explanations necessary, it's just a thing. Hey, Matty Capshaw, I'm glad to hear a new voice and see a new face like yours after being so fed up with all the other lousy people over at the grassland. So, want to have a little chat with each other, maybe a romantic candlelit dinner, maybe play some video games? Oh wait, this isn't that type of game. You want me to be enslaved like the entire rest of the... I've used the word enslaved quite a lot. What am I trying to say here? Entire rest of the town. Also, I have no idea why I dare make this connection, but does anyone else think she looks like... does anyone else think this looks like Link's tunic? I smell plagiarism. You. Also, quickly... realize that all of your upgraded farmland and watering can do not carry over from the mainland. You just need to pay up if you want things to not take 2 minutes to grow here. Fun! Just fun! Okay, Nico Garcia, he likes rock. Who cares? We make him a guitar, that's it. This lady is a freaking diva that wants you to always make clothes for her. Relatable, I guess. And there's this guy who accuses the Earth of crashing into a ship, and then he brags about being a beefcake. That's all you need to know, alright? You know, a handful of nuts keep the doctor away. I'm utterly disappointed in this game. They couldn't even get the apple keeps the doctor away phrase correct. And they're going to be pursued by a doctor because he wants you to have a checkup because of what you just said. See what I mean? Whitaker really wants to lie to you that he actually went out and killed those aliens. What a piece of work. Also, I just love how he's never heard of plastic before. Cat thing poop. At least he eventually gives you the ability to teleport to the tropics at any time, so that's a plus. Also, I quickly found out that Matty Capshaw will not show up about anything. I mean, she literally asked for a Greek costume, and I'm still wondering why I'm playing this game. Meanwhile, you deliver a few materials to Professor Meeple, and he ends up creating a new species. Okay, well, that was very rude of him to walk through me and my ugly, stupid donkey pet thing. Clear start. Torzil. Then you give him even more materials, and then he'll make a computer. And of course, nobody knows what it actually is. Remember the rock-on dude, Nico? Well, he wants to be even more gnarly and rad. He wants to get a new guitar and wants you to build a giant, probably nuclear speaker to kill everyone's ears. Alright, Nico, show us your first song. Oh, well, thanks for the path to the new area, I guess. So yeah, that just happened, and as soon as you gain access to this new area... you get to obtain limes, lemons, chocolate beans, and iron ingots. Wait a second, guys. Yes, I did it! Whee! Minecraft. Also, you get to charm these guys called Moogers. You know what that rhymes with? Booger. Obviously, you were then introduced to even more characters. Barble Bluey and Salad Blue. Barble Bluey is like the dumbest name I've ever heard. Guess which one is an environmentalist? You got 7 seconds to guess the correct answer. Time goes down, Jeopardy music plays. Her. Did they think this was a good idea? It's simply a recipe for another disastrous, unlikable character. She constantly talks about how people aren't protecting the earth enough and that it's in grave danger, and it just annoys me to no end. Let me prove to you that a young lady's fine hands are perfectly safe living environment. And oh my god, she literally asks you for so many things the first time you meet her. You know, no good conversation was held yet. Just minor introductions, and out of the blue, okay, now do this for me right now. Making friends is so easy in this game. Once you give all of these to Sally, she immediately finds out that it's a non-organic substance. It really makes a lot of sense when trees grow fruit seconds after they are picked. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the ground is full of pesticides as well. I mean, the same thing is happening with all these lumps. Are you sure you can only live on only peanut butter and J's and lemonade? Are you sure? I mean, this contain quite a lot of sugar, so I'm not sure if that's really a good lifestyle. Sorry, guy. Thanks, Mooger, for giving me the ruby I spent 20 minutes looking for. You are good. I noticed how it's apparently much easier to get a higher friendship level in the tropics. I mean, I apparently became best friends with someone I knew for like 30 minutes. I just thought I'd let you guys know. Oh cool, Professor Meeple wants to make a jetpack. I wonder what could go wrong here. That was the explosion sound, onomatopoeia, whatever you want to call it. That. Remember Molly why did I even spell her name like that? Molly Messenger. Obsessing over that sea monster thing? Well, now she wants a boombox to really boom the monster out of the water, because we really can't just let the creature live in peace, am I right? Okay, so then Meeple shoots a laser. I don't know why I spelled laser like that. And then she knocks a tree over with said laser. Again, I don't know why I spelled it like that. And now you get to go over yet another new area with yet another new character. His name is Mr. Z. And he literally isn't even from Earth. I mean, we just need as many weird characters as possible, am I right? And it doesn't even do anything to fix how boring the game actually is. So he says a lot of meaningless things. And now you need to give Maddie Capshaw a cup. Where? What kind of cup? And then he uses the forces of aliens to make a ground appear somewhere because of a gem or something. See sea monsters more at me get shocked. Apparently, it's still not enough to actually see the monster's face. This is the worst cutscene of the entire game. Just look at look at that thing. You can't even make this cutscene without being able to not squish the face image. Seriously, what is going on? Molly decides to keep it a secret between me and her to prevent from having Professor Meeple from doing experiments on the monster. I mean, I can see why. I just can't trust a man that gives me this look all the time. Explosion all around me. Why? Fun fact, I actually decided for the first time to bring out my Jupy, which is supposed to have a better chance of earning a gem upon charming, but since I didn't really level up all his stats all that much, I ended up without a single ruby, which is what I needed. Freaking useless! Whereas here's where we get to make more story progress. Yippee! Deliver to Mr. Z a wrench, an iron ingot, and a single ruby. He then calls out his alien brethren to fetch you a special strong type of fabric to patch your balloon. You know, so that it doesn't get, wrecked by a seagull like last time. Even though the seagull can easily just poke a big hole in a different side of the balloon, like, I doubt the patch is going to do anything. As you'd imagine, you get a cinematic of your balloon being patched, and another piece has been added to your current story progress. Upon returning to the tropics and speaking to Captain Whitaker, it tells you about one of his space shuttles and how it's crash-landed directly in the way of a bridge leading to the next new area of the tropics. But he orders you to get lots of batteries. Like, that's a lot of batteries. And yet I can go to the grassland with like only 2. Luckily, I have a lot of money, so I was able to get all the batteries I needed, including some extras so that I can still teleport since I was running short on them. And then the space shuttle blocking the way just kind of appears near Whitaker, and it's kind of sort of flies away, destroying a path for you to get an archaeology site. Okay. After all of that, you will be able to reach out to new and final characters. Yes, I said it. We are actually coming somewhat close to being in this game. We still have a few key items we must obtain, however, so yeah, let's just keep suffering, I guess. One of the new characters you meet, Trevor Scrimshaw. This looks like a kid that dressed up for Halloween early and in the middle of a tropical island near a shipwreck, and you can clearly tell he's pretending to be a pirate. He probably steals copies of Smash Ultimate. Something! Last character, Maxine Rose, an archaeologist who needs your help with setting up a demonic ritual to summon a creature called the Kababas Pet. She's easily the most useful and honestly normal characters out there. So yeah, in a game where you're supposed to befriend everyone you see, the only good character is Maxine. Isn't that truly something? Also, Silas is put on a diet, only to refuse to shut his cry hole when he asks you to bring him coffee and cookie dough. You know, not a cookie, but the uncooked, squishy, unedible source it comes from. I mean, I guess nothing isn't edible to this garbage disposal. But then, when you actually give these things to him, his wife Heather confiscates his said items. Like, what's the point? We just wasted a bunch of resources. This game is slowly and mercilessly piercing into my soul. Meanwhile, I want to steal that at one point. I like piercing my soul. Meanwhile, back at the newly discovered location in the tropics, here you'll find the hardest to gather resources the game has prepared you for this moment. If you weren't digging enough lumps, charming enough animals, or especially climbing trees, then that pineapple should not be given to you, my friend. Also, regardless of what you say, since the lump matches with my current skill level, it'll literally take forever to dig up. Also steals a lot away from your pet's energy, meaning you must make sure that your pet is fed before he digs up nothing or eats that last coconut. By golly, is that gold? Alright, hold on. I'm just going to copy this real quick. I like it, honestly. Tarzan eats banana. I think this is the 400th piece of wool I've collected so far. And I am so sick of constantly getting them from charming animals instead of useful things like gems and eggs. I'm pretty sure... I pretty much only use my Torzel since he's like kind of decent. Everyone else sucks because I don't use them and therefore they don't get to level their stats up. So it's on me, of course. And even calling this thing decent is taking a bit far. You know what I still have. You know what I still happen to be thinking about just looking at all these resources, especially these diamonds of gold. Mighty! Alright, Miss Maxine, we got your safari hat and drinks. Now, what do you want us to do? Okay, well, I'll just tell you. She needs a quote-unquote gem of fire to fit onto the identification that she found. Also, yeah, it's a diamond, by the way. Why does this make me think for so long? Throwing diamonds in the lava in Minecraft, case open. I'm ready to punch the gut of any demon that comes out of that tomb. At this point, after a 25-minute grind trying to find the rare required items for people that don't matter, I happen to find... I also happen to have many resources to pretty much complete the next set of tasks. Life's never been easier. Stay back, stay back! Maxine then brings up the topic of a compass, and of course you certainly want that for your balloon. But first we need to go dig up some lava. You know, nothing unusual about that. Starts digging a hole. Oh, hey, I found some lava. Oh, this was supposed to be a scene where I'm actually digging for real outside. But yeah, that never made it into the final cut, of course. Oh, and also, remember the pirate guy? He paints his toenails, and he's a guy. That seems, transphobic much? Like, what if he wants to paint... That's probably not transphobia, actually. He wants to paint his nails. Let him. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. Also, remember, paints toenails with mayo. What, you're feasting your eyes on... Oh, I was supposed to paint my toenails with mayo... No. I'm glad I didn't do that. After you find all the lava and you do some more pointless doo-doo and finally speak to Maxine again, the center tomb will open. You'll then be given a compass which will further forward your in-game progress. Not too long after first speaking with Trevor for the first time, he will tell you about a telescope inside of his chest, buried in a random lump, which you can use to gain access even more story progress. That is a scam! I expected treasure inside of that chest. That is a scam! Give me the gold. I want all of it. I want all of it. Trevor finds the scope inside the chest, and as he'd expect, you complete the next story goal. I actually realized that I had some of the story out of order, but I didn't care. I still did it. We have just 2 goals left to do. I wonder if this is where the game truly gets exciting. Alright, so the situation with Maxine Rose got a bit weird. She wants me to get a lot of flowers, a voodoo mask, and a staff, and some kind of heating source from Charming Kababa's pet. Some oddly specific things, my friend. Are you sure you're not playing around with the devils inside your head or not speaking with Satan himself? You know what? Somehow I think she's gonna get possessed. It would not even look epic. It's somehow gonna be my fault. I feel like I'm gonna end up calling it. Like I said earlier, I was holding on to a ton of items that I needed to complete the next set of tasks with. Basically, I really didn't have to do much work. I've been sharing very little detail on what you have to do still in between getting these end goals for the game, because the side quests are so boring since you're essentially doing the same thing over and over again. Undoubtedly, that's the way the game is built, but it still makes you wonder how much work it would have been to make the type of game fun. Once Maxine starts the ritual, you take one of the gems out of one of the tombs ending the ritual, and it causes the nearby active volcano to erupt. But only shoot out magma, destroying the 5 pillars, blocking the way to the next path. Guys, be honest with me. Have you ever seen a volcano erupt in such a way that nobody got hurt from it, and the volcano actually targeted one specific thing? It's pretty amazing. Also, why are there people living so close to an active volcano, which can indefinitely cause death if it were to erupt? It looks dumb. Your next task is charming the Kababa's pet to obtain a heating element. It doesn't say what type of heating element it is, but we have to go get it anyway. Kababa's pet is pretty much what was pretty much what got formed from the volcano during the ritual. He's also just another recolor of the Morilla, or whatever it's called. He's actually the toughest creature to charm, but unsurprisingly, he's nowhere near as difficult as I remember him being. I just made sure to feed my pet, and gave him 1 Mega Charm Boost bracelet, as you expect. When it's being worn, my pet has a much bigger chance of getting a Mega Charm while charming. Of course, once you obtain the heating element and speak to the Maxine Rose again, you complete the 8th goal, and that's it. Speak to Maxine again, she will tell you to say bye to everyone on the island and then on the grasslands, and once you do that, your balloon will be put up, and then you get a nice little cinematic of your character leaving us all of those wretched villains wave goodbye. The character thinks, gosh, I'm going to miss those guys. Then you decide to return to the island anyway and make your parents worried until they're driven to the point of insanity. It seems like playing this game for 7 hours wasn't worth it. That, my friends, is Wandering Willows, and oh boy, is it nowhere near as good as I remember it being. I didn't expect the experience to be spectacular, but that was clearly 9-year-old me enjoying simpler times of games, and games that don't really require your brain. It was an unengaging story, annoying and uninteresting characters, gameplay that is as mundane as washing dishes, all adding up to a confusing climax. Even the graphics are super outdated. Like, where are my lips? That is not normal lips. I know I may come off as a bit biased, but games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii was made just a few months after this game, and the graphics were amazing. I couldn't let New Super Mario Bros. Wii go, apparently. There's a really plentiful list of games out there which look much better than Wandering Willows. Even my sister commented on the topic, saying that there's really no drive to leave Paradise, and I completely agree. This is kind of the reason why nobody who crash lands on this island really wants to leave, and yet it's never explained where most of the supplies from shops like pet food, eggs, butter, milk, like wrapping paper are even from. If they're imports, then just maybe it makes a little bit of sense. If this place was an apocalyptic warfield where people detested each other, but they were still trying to sustain life on the island as all the animals turn against you. And what was I? Oh, I was talking. Okay. Okay. Of course, that was not the unique plotline they ever wanted to go for, which is fine, but anything is better than this. It's never explained why our main character is in a hot air balloon in the first place, let alone a freaking lightning storm. It's never explained who our parents are, and because they were never brought up. I suggest not to spend $15 on this game. There's so many better games out there that are in fact worth your time. That includes the first episode of the Goron Gamer Show. I technically call it this, but it's not like a public title. It's just what I refer to it to, because I don't know what else to call it. But it's really just review style videos. I am Goron Guy with T, and I'll be signing off. Catch you all next time. I'm going to go back to playing games that I actually enjoy. End. So there you have it. That's basically all the scripts to all of my videos. This is a long video, man. I'm gonna edit this together. Of course, I'll upload it here. I think you guys might probably enjoy it, even though it's probably not a video that will probably pique your interest as much, even though you've made it all the way up to this point, presumably. But yeah, so basically that's really it for this video. I just want to go ahead and end it off here. I mean, why not? That was not a good way to end the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.